I'm here.
I want to make sure I do this right, and I'm doing this for my own protection, for my own account. Can you just state your name and who you work for, that it's okay that you said it's okay that I record this phone call?
Sure, yes. So my name is Jasmine, and I'm with the Fargo Online Fraud Claims Assistance Center, and this call is monitored, may be monitored or recorded.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And
So,
yes, it is okay to.
I'm sorry,
it
go
is
ahead.
okay to record the call.
You're saying it is okay to record this call?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. So, do you need me to re-verify all my account information, or was that when I did the type-in system with my card number, my social, or my last four of my social, and my what do you call it, my PIN number? Is that enough? Did that get transferred to you from customer service, or do I need to give that to you again?
My apologies for the security of your account. We're going to be needing to verify the information again.
That's totally fine. I'm ready to. What would you like?
Of course, I'll be starting for your first and last name.
Neil Sutz, Nealsutz.
Thank you, Neil. And I'm just going to need to know, what is your account number?
I don't have my account number in front of me because I'm using the mobile app, but I have my card number, my Wells Fargo Advisors Platinum card number, and I can give you anything else that you would need, including the verbal password that should be tied to my brokerage capture account.
Of course, your card number will be okay.
Okay, it's 439. That's an old Arizona number because I'm over in Switzerland. So that number is actually with a friend of mine who's in the States right now because I couldn't get texted messages on a U.S. phone over here for like sending transfers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that's. But do you show another, before we verify anything else? Do you show another number on my profile?
No, that number only.
You don't show another number on there? Because I'm looking at the profile and I see another number.
There is no number, but what is the other number that you have registered on the account?
Well, the other number that's on there is
that's
the question I have. Is it 214 area code?
Go ahead. Is there another number?
There shouldn't be.
No, I mean the number that you mentioned that starts with 214, so I can check that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just reopen my app. Sorry.
Sure. Take your time.
I've got this biometric, like, fingerprint scan thing set up that you guys offer to open my app every time. So it's logging in.
Sure. Take your time.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so under my contact information, it's got, sorry, it's spinning and opening. I'm opening up my phone number section. 214, it's the main mobile number is the 602-4. We confirm that's the one that I had put in the beginning of having this account. The mobile 2 is listed as 214-838-9956.
So for that number, I'll take note of it. I don't want to give any false information yet because the account is not yet authenticated. I'm just going to be needing to check other options here on how we can
tell me whatever else you need to verify me.
So, okay, so just to double check, the 602-4.
That's why I put a verbal password on, and I was just in the process. I learned that you guys have digital voice authentication, and I was adding that on, and then this weird thing happened when I called you guys on the 23rd, I believe, or 27th. Anyway, I just got an email about that today. So that's the whole thing. So anything else you need to authenticate, I can give you anything.
Okay, great. And I'm going to be needing to know your email address. All right. I'll be sending a message, a pin, a one-time pin on that email.
Okay, I will open up that email.
Once you receive the email, can you please read back the code for me?
I sure will.
All right.
Did you want to tell me when you send it so I can refresh the browser on the email?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry, the system is acting up. Let me send the code now. Yes, it should be on your email now.
Okay, I will refresh. It's refreshing. Okay, here it says Wells Fargo, here's your one-time verification code. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, it's 153021.
Okay.
It looks like it's at alerts at notify.wellsfargo.com.
Yes, that is the one-time pin. So, let's see here. I'm going to also need to ask a few questions from you.
Of course.
And, okay. And I just want to set your expectations. These questions are about places, people, or property you have been associated with in the past based on data from public sources.
Okay.
And the first question here, it says, for a mortgage loan opened in or around March 2019, which of the following lenders is or was your payment made to? So choices we have here are Bank of America, SunTrust Bank, Standard Bank, Regions Bank, or none of the above.
None of the above. That you said 2019. None of the above. I've never had a mortgage in 2019. I moved overseas in June of 2017.
All right. And the next question here is for a home equity line of credit opened in or around April 2021. Which of the following lenders is or was your payment made to? Choices we have here is Standard Bank, SunWest Mortgage Co., GE Capital, Bank of New York Mellon, or none of the above.
None of the above. Again, that falls after I moved to Geneva, Switzerland in June of 2017.
Okay. Next question, which of the following is the area code for your phone number ending in 4962? We have here choices of 623 480 928 602, or none of the above.
As a current phone number?
It only says here which of the following is the area code for your phone number ending in 4962.
That might have been an old number I had pre-June 2017 when I moved to Switzerland from Arizona, but I lived in Gilbert, that's East Valley, so that would have been a 480 number.
Okay. Right. And last, which of the following cities have you previously lived in? We have your Barrie, Maplesville, Rainsville, Mesa, or none of the above.
When you said Mesa, how do you spell that?
MESA.
Yeah, that's Mesa. Sorry, that's Mesa, Arizona. I lived in Mesa.
Okay. All right, I'll be submitting this. See if the system will take it. All right. Account has been authenticated. I'm just going to check more information here. I just wanted to ask, Neil, what happened to your account? Were there any messages that was received?
Well, there was an issue, and I need your help actually on the app. You know the little envelope that's on the upper right corner? If there's like messages from Wells Fargo to the clients to me, is that I can read this to you what I just saw today, and then I'll tell you what happened before. Is that on the home page of the app?
Let me just double check. Are these like alerts that you see on your end?
Yeah, they're like alerts. Like there's like if there's a new alert, there's an envelope, like a light blue envelope on the top, but I don't know. Oh, maybe it's called Message Center. Oh, here it is. I see now in my menu. If I look at profile settings, messages, there's under message and alerts. There's Message Center. So I'll tell you what that way I can read it specifically, exactly to you, so I don't make any mistakes. Okay, so I just saw this today, but it's dated. It's dated May 23rd, 2020 at 5:46 a.m. So is that like local East Coast time? Because it doesn't say. Or is that like local time where my account was set up, or what is that time? It just says 5:23:22. Your contact information, subject, your contact information has been updated from online banking 5/23/2022 at 05:46 a.m. And it says this message was sent with high priority.
Okay.
So is that like, what time zone is that?
Let me double check that from my end, because on our end, we are in Eastern time. So I'll just have to check this first for you. Is it okay to place this call on hold for 2 to 5 minutes?
Yeah, actually, before you check on that, let's just get to the main point. Let's not worry about what time zone that is. So it says, the message says, can you look up my messages? Are you able to do that?
For that one, we're not going to be able to.
Okay, well, I mean, I screenshot it and stuff, but it says we've updated your contact information, and it says in bold the word new, address, comma, email address, and or phone numbers, and then there's that phone number 214-838-9956. If you didn't make this request, please call us. No. I just saw this email, but I had noticed that happened, and I'll tell you real briefly what happened and then what my conversation was with your colleague in the fraud department last week. I called in from a cell phone that I've used, a Swiss cell phone, which is a different whole like country code, area code. I mean, they have a whole different like system of numbers here. I've called in from this number a bunch of times. I've called in from a bunch of Swiss cell phones that I've had. And the first thing the computer voice said on the phone when I called in was, we notice you're calling from a new number. Would you like to add that number to your profile? I've been a customer since 97, and I've never seen that. So when I talked to your fraud department, the woman I spoke with last week said that number was added in through some kind of automated system. Now, since that wasn't my phone number, and I have some suspicions as to what was going on with my phone, what is your automated system? Because neither myself, my colleagues, my business partner, my friends that have Wells Fargo have ever been asked when they've called from a new number by your computer.
Okay.
So what is your automated, why would your automated system, that's my first question. I only have 3 questions. So why would your automated system ask something that it's never asked before to neither me nor anybody else I know, no matter where we are in the world, calling Wells Fargo?
For that one, Neil, as much as I wanted to also provide you more information of this message, we don't have enough information to provide to you because this is beyond our system. And in regards to the number, what we can do here is take note of it and make sure that this will not be reflecting on your online banking.
No.
And yes,
I'm sure you'll do that. I'm just wondering, like, so when your colleague in fraud who I spoke with said it was put in through the automated system, and you're in the fraud department, I've never heard you guys even have a phone recognition, a number recognition system, and I would assume since you work in fraud you would know that. But she said that she was looking at how that number was put in the same system you're looking at because you're in the same department, and it says it was put in through the automated system. And then I thought maybe it was trying to add, for some reason, my Swiss number. So it said select 1 if you want to put it in your profile. So I selected 1. And then they read the number back to me, and I was like, that's not my phone number. That's a U.S. number. And I'm not in the U.S. and I'm not calling from America.
You don't know this number?
No, the number I'm calling you from right now is not what I'm ever putting in my profile. I had my friend in the States send me a US phone over here so I could start calling you guys on this issue because I didn't want to use my other phone anymore to call you or to access my app. But when I hit 1, I then looked at my profile. Now, do you see that number in my profile? Because I'm looking at my profile and I see that 214 number in there as mobile 2.
Let me go ahead and check. 1 second.
Thank you. I just don't want to take a lot of your time, that's
You're
all.
welcome. No worries. It's a good thing you called us because of this alert that you have on your account. And I just wanted to also let you know that we are online fraud department. So what we can only do here is through to protect the customers' accounts online. And I'm going to go ahead and check it for you now. One moment here. I'm just loading the system. Okay. Yeah, it's reflecting.
What is reflecting exactly?
So we have here the number 214-838-9956.
Okay, and is it reflecting what your colleague said, that it was put in through, she said, your automated system?
I'll just have to check that if I can be able to see it from my end. 1 second.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, 1 second. Still checking. Just a moment.
No worries.
Sorry, it's still reviewing some information here.
I mean, as you can see, I've called in a bunch of times. I just thought this time it was best just to speak only and first directly just to the fraud department because nobody else seems to know anything.
Yeah, we tried tracking the history of information here and there, and you wanted to know if this was notated or let me see here, noted that this phone number is from a different country, you said?
No, the 214 number, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, the 214 number is a U.S. number. When your system recognized me calling from a Swiss phone and it asked me, do I want to add the number I was calling from in, and I hit 1 for yes. As I said, I'd never been asked that before and everybody says that system doesn't exist. It added in the 214 number. So I went to my profile, saw the 214 number, 214-838-9956 that you just verified is in there. Then I started calling. The first person in fraud that I finally got to said that number was put in through the automated system.
All right, 1 second. They're just checking if the system is updated on our end because you were routed to a selection where you can, if you wanted to add this U.S. number to your account. Is that right?
No, I just called in. That's what I'm saying. I called in like I always do from a Swiss cell phone, the same Swiss cell phone I've called in for months. And it asked me, going through the verification process, card number, last four of social, PIN number. It asked me, we noticed you're calling in from a new number. Do you want to add that number to your account? Then it added that number to my account. And I only saw it because it was in my profile afterwards. So I can't manually, I've never been asked, I've never had a Wells Fargo recognize what number I'm calling from. That's number one. Neither has anybody else that I know that deals with Wells Fargo. I've never manually input a number. So I'm saying that number was put in through your automated system, but I don't know even where your automated system is and why your automated system would recognize a number that's completely not my number from a different country. That's a U.S. number. I was calling from Switzerland from a Swiss number, and I definitely wasn't calling from that number. That's a U.S. number.
Okay.
So the only thing, just so I don't waste your time, is your colleague in fraud said that number was put in through your automated system. Where in your automated system regarding fraud does it recognize phone numbers?
All right.
Whether it's an accurate phone number or not accurate.
I'm going to be needing to check this one for you, Neil, because I don't want to give any false information. Let me check our resources here on how I could provide you the correct information in regards to this system that you experienced. And just wanted to double check because you called in from Switzerland using this 214 number?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's a 214 number, which I believe is Texas. I was calling from a Swiss cell phone, a cell phone in Switzerland, to just check my account like I always do. And it recognized that number as my number. I know my phone itself was obviously spoofed, and all I need to know so I don't waste your time, Jasmine, is Jasmine, right?
Yeah.
All I need to know is where, forget what happened on my end, where something was obviously wrong with my phone. Where in your system does nobody, I know, as I said, and I'm not trying to be repetitive, I have a lot of colleagues and friends that bank with Wells Fargo, and none of them have ever been phone recognized, number recognized. So I just need to ask you that. That was it. I know it's in there. You verified it's in there. I know that number's not mine. I know what that number is about because we looked it up. But I'm just wondering why did it single my phone out of all the phones since 1997 of everybody I know to recognize what number I'm calling from and add it automatically into the system? That's all I'm wondering.
Okay. So you're asking why this is automatically added on your account?
Right, that was it. That's all. Then I can let you go.
Okay. All right. Let me try and check our resources here from Online Fraud Claims Assistance Center, Neil. Let me just check our resources here real quick. And I just need to place this call on hold for 2 to 5 minutes. Would that be okay?
Okay, that's fine. And just so I know, without repeating the number out loud, do you see the number I'm calling from now? Because if we get disconnected, I'm going to need you to ask me to, it's a U.S. number I had sent over to me, a real U.S. number. That's a real cell phone that I'm calling you from. Are you able to call me back if we get disconnected? Because I've had this unfortunate thing of getting disconnected a bunch of times too.
Well, let me see if I can check it at our end. Hold on. And you're calling from where?
I'm calling from a U.S. cell phone in Switzerland, not the 214, because that's not my number. When all this weird stuff started happening with my account, I had a colleague of mine send me over a U.S. cell phone. So can you see on your system, your caller ID, what number I'm calling from just in case we get disconnected? Because you said you need to put me on hold for 2 to 5 minutes. You can probably see how many times I've called in the last week. I tend to get suddenly disconnected all the time. Not all the time, but a bunch of times. So do you see the number, an area code 850? That's all I need to know. So you can call me back. If you get back on the line and I'm not there and we got disconnected, are you able to call me back so I don't have to start all over again? If by some chance we get disconnected, some fluke.
Okay. All right, Neil. The number that you're calling in from is not reflecting on our system. But if in case this call got disconnected, I will try calling you back to the number that you're calling in from.
Okay, but you don't see the number, but you're able to call me back on it, you're saying?
We will try calling you back right away if the call got disconnected.
Okay, because don't call the 602 number because I'm not with the 602 number. That's in the United States. All right, well, let's just hope it doesn't get disconnected.
Okay.
Go ahead, and if you could check on that, that would be great, and then I can let you go.
Sure. I'll go ahead and place the call now on hold, and I will check my resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Neil.
Hi, Jasmine, you're back with me?
Yeah, I'm back. Thank you for patiently waiting. So from our end, Neil, we're going to be needing to call another department and just to get more information on the IVR that you heard regarding adding the number on your account.
I'm sorry,
we don't have enough information here on our end.
The what on my
I do
account?
apologize for that. But
It's okay. Wait, hold on. I didn't understand you. You said you're going to need to call another department to ask for the what on my account?
no, I'm just gonna verify some more information because I know you wanted to know where in our system we're adding numbers to customers' accounts. Because from our end, we don't have enough information to provide you to justify your question, and I just need to coordinate with another department to ask more information to provide to you.
Okay. Do you know roughly how long it'll take for you to do that?
I don't have enough information for that, but I'm going to be needing to ask another 2 to 5 minute hold for the call.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jasmine.
You're very welcome. I'll just call them on the other line. One moment.
Okay.
Hello, Neil.
Yeah. Hi, Jasmine.
Yes, hi, Neil. Thank you for patiently waiting. I'm still coordinating with the department on the other line. I'm going to be needing to ask another 2 to 5 minute hold for the call.
Okay. And I'm not at all rushing you because this is really important, but do you think it's going to go much, much longer than that?
It might be because I'm trying to verify this one as well with this department, but I'm still waiting for a representative on the other line.
Okay, and you understand the only question I need answered is what kind of automated system you guys have. Like, why did it recognize the number I called from when I've never had that before? You understand? I'm not trying to get in depth with you. I just need the surface of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I am still asking that one, but still waiting on the other line, though.
Okay, no worries.
So I just need to...
Sorry, go ahead. We have a little bit of a delay in the call.
Placing this call on hold.
Yeah.
Sure, no worries. Placing this call on hold for another 2 to 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Hello, Neil?
Yeah, hi, Jasmine. Sorry, I just moved around in my house for a second while I was on hold. No worries.
Sure. So, yeah, thank you for patiently waiting. I do apologize for the hold. So, I tried coordinating with the department on the other line and also asking what kind of automated system we have. And they said currently right now, the automated system of Wells Fargo is currently under update. It's still updating. And also in regards to asking if the phone number is or can be added, they mentioned that was not part of the IVR of the system of Wells Fargo.
That's what I was told by Wells Fargo and by other people, is that. I mean, like, I even called right after this happened. That's all I wanted to know. Okay, so you just said the automated system is updated. I don't even know what the automated system is. That's number one. Number two is, when I called back when this happened, I called back from a different phone. Same number I was calling before, a number I'd never used, definitely never used before. That's not in my profile. And it never asked me the question the second time. And I had a bunch of friends call in and my business partner call in from the States. So when you say the automated system is being updated, what do you mean it's being updated? And since when?
Right now, they just told me that it's just being updated because of money transfer through online.
Through whose money transfer? Money transfers in general?
Yes, that is the only information I was able to gather from them.
But what is the automated? That's why I still don't understand, Jasmine. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be obnoxious, but what is the automated system? What are you talking about? Because it's like the $1 million question. That
the one that you, like if they provide you options or provide you information when you call us, it's like pressing 1, pressing 2, like that.
Oh, that automated. Okay, but so you're saying that nobody in your entire fraud department could even verify that system either exists or doesn't exist?
On our department, we're not going to be able to provide any information in regards to that. Apologies for that.
Okay. Well, that pretty much answers my question without answering it then. Can you tell me when they started updating the system? The automated system?
They just provided me the information that the system is currently being updated. So they just provided me that information, because I was also asking what kind of automated system we have, or if the IVR is really asking for phone numbers, if they can add this to the customer's account. They just said no, it's not part of our IVR, and that is the only information I can provide.
Okay, just so I'm clear, and I'll let you go, Jasmine. Can you repeat what you just said so I understand? Because I'm sorry, this is a lot of information to take in. You're saying that the automated system is being updated, but what about it?
Yes.
What's the other part?
In regards to the number, the one that if it's okay to add the new phone number to your account, that is not part of the IVR of Wells Fargo.
And that's not part of your IVR or IDR?
Yes.
IVR. It's not part
IVR.
Oh, IPR. Yeah. Sorry. I'm like, it's an acronym for, what does it even stand for? Identity.
It's a interactive voice. So it's like pressing 1 for yes or 2 for no, like that.
Oh, so interactive voice recognition or something like that? IVR?
Yes.
So you're saying that the IVR, where it asks you to press 1 or 2, that the Wells Fargo system does not have that ability. That's all I need to know. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they provided that information. That's not part of Wells Fargo.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Jasmine, you've been extremely helpful in helping me solve this puzzle. I appreciate it. Sorry this took like 45 minutes for you to do. I'm sure you've got other clients that have bigger issues.
Of course.
And may I ask, just so I know, and I know you're in the fraud department, so I don't need anything else other than your first name, but like, this is like the regular online fraud department, and is there any kind of like ID number or case number or anything on my file that I need to reference so I can just keep note of all these calls?
Of course, I can provide you, let me see here. 1 second. All right, I can provide you a case number.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So let me know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready because, like I said at the beginning, you said it was okay to record this. I'll listen to the end of this to write it down, so you can just speak it because it's still recording anyway.
Okay. So the case number for your account is 267-887-313.
Okay, and that's a case number registered with the online fraud department.
This is a case number that is under your account, but if you want the case number under our department, this is 255-516-489.
Okay, so the second one is the one with the fraud department. What was the first case number related to, so I understand if I use the right one when I call in again?
The first case number that I provided was a recent case that was made for your account, but the second case number that I provided is under our department, online fraud.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, awesome. Jasmine, thank you for all your help. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day.
You too, Neil. Anything else from our end?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right. Thank you for choosing Wells Fargo. You have a great day.
You
Bye.
as well. Bye. Sorry.
Yep. Jordan Thompson with Wells Fargo Advisors Complaint Executive Office. You've asked to record the call and I've given you permission to do so. Now, kind of to get into the details of the case, like I said, I've listened to a couple of the calls that you've made in, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand is you had a hack on one of your devices. You sought help from somebody that you trusted to do its job. Essentially, that person proceeded to take money from your Zelle account. I think he initially wanted to do so through Bitcoin. You didn't have Bitcoin. And then he proceeded to take $100 and then $150 from your Zelle account. You're looking to essentially process that claim with the fraud department and get that money back. Correct?
That is the basic outlay of one of the issues, but that is not the main issue. Yes, there was. I hired somebody because I've had irregularities, if you will, in my phone communications for quite a long time. And because I read the new law that President Biden put in place with his administration saying that companies can test their systems or individuals by hiring what's called ethical hackers. I found somebody on Quora, that website Quora, Quora, who was a hacker to see if he could go into my phone. Now, that is not the phone that I had the problem with Wells Fargo with. So the way that went down, very briefly, I hire this person. As you said, and you were correct, he asked to be paid in Bitcoin. He said he can access my phone and that he can pull what's called a remote log, or he can find any what are called hidden apps. And so he charged me $100. It was on the 16th, and then he came back to me and said, "Well, I'm having a problem getting in. I need to buy another tool, so it's going to cost another $150." Then he came back to me and said, "Well, I'm in, but I'm having problems getting the information. I need to get $450 more." Now, I'm letting you know, I paid that money of my own volition. But when you say he asked if I could pay in Bitcoin, you're correct. I said I don't have Bitcoin. He asked if I could pay by PayPal. I tried linking my PayPal, but it wouldn't work. So I said, "Well, can I just Zelle you the money?" Now, he and I were texting up and back. And because I'm native language American English, and you appear to be as well, you can kind of tell when somebody's not native language the way they write. So he said, "I don't know if about Zelle." He goes, "Oh, yeah, we can do Zelle." And then he goes, "Let me give you the account." Now, the name he was using in these his hacker name or whatever was not the same name as that Justin or Jordan Whitney that's on those two Zelle transfers. He did not do the work. first of all. He was extorting money out of me. It was a complete fraud. But the fact that it was hooked up to a Zelle account, from what I was informed, Zelle accounts can only work with U.S. accounts. You can't use them overseas. So it's, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, things like that. That was where the issue first started. But to repeat, I communicated with him through my Google app text messaging on the phone I'm calling you from. That was my first issue. I never got the provisional credit. And okay, granted, it was only $250, but it was a principal thing. And I had never had anybody from Wells Fargo ask me what I offered in the first call when I first complained about this, saying, I have all the text messages and you guys have the name of the Zelle account, Justin Whitney or Jordan Whitney, whatever it is. You can find him. A couple days later, I call in, as I often do. I'm overseas in Geneva, as you can see by looking at my account. I've been over here for quite a few years, 5 years, and been a customer since 1997. So I call in from my Swiss cell phone, not the one I'm talking on again, just not to be repetitive, but so you understand. I call in from my Swiss telephone. Your voice, not your voice prompt, but the Wells Fargo voice prompt. This goes into the second issue, which is our biggest issue. The Wells Fargo voice prompt, the IVR system, said, we recognize you're calling from a number you haven't used before. Would you like to add that number to your system? If so, hit 1. Now, having been a customer since 1997, and since my colleague with whom I'm merging our companies together in the middle of a 9-figure deal right now, which is the biggest deal of our lives, that's very obviously important, where we wanted to put all the money into Wells Fargo Wealth Management. I called him, and he called his family, and he called a whole bunch of people, and he's like, I've never been asked that before. So long story short, there's two issues. There's the one thing with the Zelle, then there's the final conclusion of today's series of calls before I got to you, which was, I called your fraud department fresh this afternoon, 4 or 5 hours ago. I talked to a woman named Jasmine. I think she was in one of your overseas call centers. She sounded like she had a Filipino accent. She was very polite. She was very helpful. I explained the situation kind of from the beginning. She said to me that the IVR system, and she verified twice, does not have the feature, which is exactly what everybody else has said around me, to recognize numbers and add them into the system. So what we're dealing with on the second part of this, and this is, I know this sounds complex, but this is as simple as it gets. My Swiss cell phone was obviously spoofed, which is a major problem in Switzerland. And I've been asked to be quiet about it here to figure out what we're going to do with this. But also, and the only metaphor I can use with you is, what a credit card skimmer is. I mean, you guys have put these warnings out. Everybody knows what credit card skimmers are at gas stations, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if your IVR system, your voice recognition input number system, was verified by your fraud department this afternoon to not even have that functionality, not only am I dealing with my number being spoofed, but Wells Fargo is dealing with your phone system being hit in some sort of, we've talked to people at the FCC without mentioning what the bank is. We've talked to people at a major telecommunications company, and they've signed a mutual non-disclosure agreement with us. And we believe it's also the telecommunications company that not only manages my colleagues' stuff in America, but also manages Wells Fargo. And they don't want us talking about it, and they're going deep into the other part, which is a third part that has nothing to do with you guys. But those are kind of the two issues. So I'm sure you can understand that if you've listened in on the calls, you probably heard the last call I made, which I think was Thursday or Friday, where I had gotten a case number from somebody named Tiffany J, called her back, spoke with her, then talked to her the next day. She connected me to somebody, I believe, whose name was Mamesh or Mamoosh. And to be honest with you, if you listen to that call, as compared to all the other calls I made, I got a little bit unpleasant with him when I felt like this was being disregarded. And I got unpleasant with him. I didn't threaten him, but I got unpleasant with him because the call lasted for a long time, and he seemed to just be considering this some sort of whatever, fluke or something. I don't know what it was. And the penetration of a banking system, we all know, I'm sure high-level hackers can pretty much hack anything they want. And, I'm not somebody who's a novice to this. My company's computers have been hacked on and off for years, and there's a reason behind it. But we're just getting after 5 years to the bottom of this. And the only reason we are, and I'll be quiet so you can give me your feedback and tell me how we're going to handle this, is we got to the bottom of it finally because they've never touched my Wells Fargo anything or any of my banks ever. They've never spoofed my own phone to get into a system. And when I looked in my app, my Wells Fargo app on my secure phone, and I saw that phone number in there, and then I looked up what that phone number was, and it's listed online as a robocall spider, which means if it's in, and I don't even know exactly what that means, if it's in a computer mainframe of any kind, it has access to everything in there, mine, yours, and everybody else's. So do you see I'm dealing with two different issues? It's not just the guy took $250 from me, which has really nothing to do with this because it was a completely separate phone. I'm dealing with two separate complete issues, the most serious of which is this thing with my phone being spoofed and you guys, your IVR system, apparently not being yours when I called in, but it was your phone number I dialed, and it was the same Wells Fargo voice, and the number penetrated into your system and put it on my profile in your bank. Does that kind of make sense?
No, it does, and I appreciate you going in depth. Like I said, I listened to a couple of calls, so I had the breadth of it, but I appreciate you giving me that. So obviously we have, like you said, the two issues, least of which, but obviously still important, would be the $250 that have been taken from your account fraudulently, but most importantly, the spoof phone number that is now in our system. Before we can continue any further, sir, if you wouldn't mind giving me your verbal password.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I appreciate your asking me for that because on a number of calls I've made, they don't even ask me for my password. And that's where I started wondering about, did somebody have my identity? My password should be...
And can you give me, I guess, the number that would have been spoofed, the one that you are worried about? I want to see if I can see that here on the account as well.
Oh, you mean the number that when I hit yes, put that number in? You mean? Yeah, hold on. Let me open up my app. It's a 214 number. Hang on. I'm opening up my app. Even though you and I are just talking on regular phone, because I'm using an American phone over here, it takes like a second to load the app. So it's loading. I've got the biometric security hooked up, so it just takes a second. I'll get into my contact info, and I should have it memorized by now, considering that number is rather integral to everything. But let's see.
No worries.
Okay, so I'm in my account, and I'm going to profile and settings, contact information. Like, I thought at first, okay, fluke, but I'm sure you know, just being in the banking industry, and let's just say also the reputation of the Swiss banking industry and the Swiss communications industry, this isn't something they want to deal with either. Like, they don't want this kind of stuff.
Right.
The spoofs over here, the skimmer or whatever the heck it is going on in the Wells Fargo system is happening there. So the number is, and I've taken videos and screenshots and stuff, so I've got that on another system, but let me just pull up what the number is live. It's 214-838-9956. It's listed as mobile 2 in my profile. Mobile 1 is the 602, which is an old US number that my friend has in America for me because I couldn't get, like, when I was doing bank transfers and stuff, I couldn't get the authorization codes you always need to get for like two-step authentication. So I had him keep that two-factor, right? But it's that 214 number. So all I did, because of this not being the first penetration into my system, but me, and I'll say it so it's recorded, I'm being called crazy, okay, for all of this by some people that have major control judicially over my family. I've had 5 psychiatrists verify it. I am completely sane. I have no psychoses. I have no nothing. And that when it's coming down on me now, especially since we... And I didn't want to be a whistleblower. I was a mandated reporter. And it's just a bad situation. So I looked up that 214 number and I found it associated with an entire robocall scam. But as you know, spoofing and robocalls are usually used in sort of a juxtaposition, if you will, of what's happened to me. My number was spoofed to get into my Wells Fargo system, into your Wells Fargo system. And your system has some kind of filter skimmer on it that asks something that Wells Fargo doesn't ask. So, do you see that number, mobile 2?
Yes, sir. So, yeah, that is a little odd there. So, give me a moment here. Let me just kind of go through your account. I just want to double check some activity. Do you know around when that that purchase, or excuse me, that Zelle transfer would have been?
Yeah, I can tell you there's 3 factors of timing. Number 1 is the first cell transfer was on May 16th, $100 to, I think it's either Justin Whitney or Jordan Whitney. I don't have that in front of me, but it's still listed on my activity. The next one was on the 17th, and I believe it was 100 on the 15th, on the 16th, and then 150 on the 17th. And then the actual number issue where this whole like your contact information was changed thing, I just got those on the app, it has like the little envelope in the upper right corner and it says like you have a new message from Wells Fargo. I clicked on that this morning, my time here in Switzerland, and I saw that on and it's in my message center. I mean, I had to, again, I'm screenshotting all of this because I have to. So I look in my profile again, I go down to the message center. I can tell you precisely when this occurred. It says on 5/23 of 2022 at 05:46 a.m., which I'm assuming maybe is East Coast time. It says your contact information has been updated. This message was sent with high priority. We've updated your contact information. New is marked in bold. Address, email, and or phone numbers. Then it lists that phone number 214-838-9956 to view your current information. But I didn't see that message until this morning. I just went into my profile, like I said, directly after this weird thing happened. But I just got that message this morning. But it's dated 5/23/22 at 5:46 in the morning, which is when that went down.
Okay. Really quick here, sir. Can I, just in the off chances that our call gets disconnected, can I get the best contact number to reach you at?
Thank you for asking me that. I gave it to Claudia. So my direct number is. And thank you for asking me that, because I've had 3 or 4 of the calls I made to Wells Fargo disconnected and I can never get back to the right person. And now that I've gotten to your level, I know you're taking this seriously because somebody in media relations took this real seriously. And all I was told flat out was it would be a crisis if this went out, especially because it's not in my head. And I don't want a crisis for anybody. Not for me, not for you, not for anybody.
Yeah, I know. I definitely, I would say I understand, but it seems like a very unique situation, so I definitely empathize with you there. Let me just run that number back to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do here, sir, is I'm going to place you on a brief mute. It's not going to be a hold, so I won't be going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to be muting my end of the line as I look through some of this information here, and I will be right back with you. Okay, should take no more than 2 to 3 minutes.
I appreciate it. And just so you know, as I said in the first call I made when this was just dealing with that whole Zelle issue, I have extensive documentation that can help your IT security department get to the bottom of both of these issues, especially this big issue that we're talking about. I'm just letting you know it's out there. I'm not asking for like you guys to solve it. I can solve 95% of it for you. I just never thought these people had the actual, pardon my phrase, but I actually never thought they had the actual balls to try to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to rest online while I'm on mute. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, sir. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Suits, are you still there with me, sir?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I did go into the your account history and was able to see those two transactions. It said, looks like on the 16th and the 17th of May, Justin Whitney went ahead and copied that information down, the amounts and the reference numbers on those transactions. What I'm going to have to do is get in touch with that fraud department and our excuse me, and our online transactions team, because as far as I can tell, this is, like I said, this case just got assigned to me, and I haven't really been able to give it my full attention outside of listening to those calls. But now having you on the phone and recognizing not only is it these two transactions, but the number as well.
And that's the thing. And I'm not cutting you off, but I really want to say something just so you understand my level of appreciation. To research this, hire private investigators just to clear my name from being called crazy. And now that we signed this non-disclosure with the telecommunications company, they're taking it real serious because we have IP addresses and servers being relocated to foreign countries through VPNs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when I say I appreciate you're taking this seriously, I really appreciate it because this will solve a lot of problems.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I have this number, the 8501. I'm give you my direct line as well, just so you know where this call is coming from.
Yeah, let me grab a pen really quickly. Hold on just 1 second, okay? Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna get a pen.
Yeah.
And the rather, so you understand, not to make it more confusing, but so you have all the facts. I'm repeating all the communications and text messages between myself and the guy with those two Zelle transfers. I have all those. I kept all those, the actual text. So, you guys can do that. Obviously with Justin Whitney or Jordan Whitney or whatever it is, you can find him through the bank account, through the Zelle account. The other issue is has a lot of evidence that your security people are going to need to take a look at, because and it's a big dirty situation. But now that Wells Fargo got hit and I got hit and then Wells Fargo and then we're in the middle of a 9-figure deal, that's when I had to just say, I want help and I want help now. So,
Absolutely.
so tell me again. I'm sorry.
Let me go ahead and give you my number, so you know where. If I do, well, when I do call you back, you'll know that it's from Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
The number is going to be 1855.
Okay. And is there an actual case number assigned? The woman I spoke with today, Jasmine, in fraud, said there were 2 case numbers on my account. One was dealing with the Zelle thing, and one I assume was dealing with this other issue. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So I can give you. I have the case assigned to me regarding the Zelle. I can give that to you here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. So this is going to be. It's going to be 0620220601 7090 I know that's a lot of numbers.
That's okay. Can I repeat it back to you?
Yeah.
Okay, 062022060170903009. Okay, so that's regarding the Zelle issue. Now, since that was, and I understand you're probably thinking, what the heck, man? I was just assigned this Zelle case, and now this guy's hitting me with all this other stuff. And I'm sorry to dump it on you, but can you also just spell me your name so I have it, so I don't...
Yeah, so I can only give out my first and my last initial, but my first name is Jordan, and my last initial is T. So JORDAN, and then the letter T.
T like Thomas.
There you go.
Okay. Now, regarding the other issue, and again, you guys are Wells Fargo. The telecommunications company was a telecommunications company. You're looking at oddities that you can't explain, that your fraud department's verified already, that are not part of your system anyway, to make sure that there was a non-disclosure signed, a mutual non-disclosure, based on the evidence that they were already looking at. And I think from what my colleague told me, they have 17 people looking into it. That's just on the IP stuff that happened to our servers. So I need to know between myself and Wells Fargo, because regarding the other issue of the phone number, since we know that your IVR system doesn't function like that, you don't have that feature, since we know that that was not my phone number, since we know that your fraud department verified it was put in through your automated system, which means your system recognized it, or somebody's system recognized it and threw it into my Wells Fargo on some kind of filter or skimmer, how precisely are we handling that? Like, not in the sense of like, I'm getting a call back in a couple days and you're going to let me know, but is Wells Fargo, because of this obviously being quite clearly a massive security breach, in the position you're in, or with one of your colleagues, are you able to sign an agreement with me that we do not talk about this? Because I don't think it's good for me, I don't think it's good for you, but it's especially not good for me. Because and we told the telecommunications company that we gave them enough evidence so they knew something was wrong, so they signed quick, and they didn't want us discussing it, and we didn't want it discussed. But when Wells Fargo is going to understand why I wanted something on paper, not just phone conversations. It's that serious, because it's not a joke. And the last thing I'm trying to clear up is, Mr. Suits is crazy. He thinks people are listening to him. It's way worse than listening. It's way worse, and that's quite clear now that they've gone into my account. So how does Wells Fargo deal with issues like this of high security? I don't know who your general counsel is. I assume you have an enormous legal staff. I assume you have non-disclosures based on security issues. You're a bank, you have to have those. How do we get one of those signed ASAP? So I can then hand over everything you want. You already have enough to show it, but I can hand you over all the details. Because I'm at this point, I'm sorry to say, I'm a highly mistrustful person. And the person that pushed me to do this, and then I'll let you answer just so you understand, was actually my psychiatrist, not my lawyer. I have a great lawyer, but it was my psychiatrist that saw enough of this under, medical confidentiality, where he told me, that way you can safely transfer all of the evidence over and they can lock this down. And also go after the people that have done this, because that's what needs to happen. So how do we do that?
Just so I'm clear, you're looking to figure out what the process is for you to get an NDA with us and the phone company, so that way you can transfer the information and the screenshots, text messages, and all that evidence that you have safely and securely. Is that correct?
Right. Like, we've already done it with the telecommunications company. They're in process. Like I said. So what I need with Wells Fargo before I transfer anything is, like, literally, you guys, what I'm saying is the telecommunications company agreed for the mutual non-disclosure based on the already breaches that they saw in the IP servers, the IP addresses for the servers. They knew there was a hack, so they were fine with it. And they are a huge, I can't say who they are because I'm under non-disclosure. They're a huge American telecommunications company. So I'm asking for the same thing from Wells Fargo before I transfer anything. In terms of, you guys have already seen what you've seen. Your fraud department verified it was a fraud, it was a hack. There is no question about it. That's aside from the Zelle thing. So how do I get that from you guys so I can safely, and I don't just mean technically safely, but feel safe about transferring you all the information about these people and how this goes down, so you guys can go deep and really figure it out, and then lock your system down and secure my account and all of your other clients' accounts. Because although I was targeted for this, they're in your system. It's clear. Your fraud department admitted it, and it's not just my account. How do we do that?
Sure. And that's one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the things that I will be looking into. I'll be completely candid with you at the moment. I'm not aware of what that process will look like. That's something that I'm going to have to partner with my direct supervisor and a couple of different departments to determine, so that way we can give you the best solution, the most concrete and airtight one, so that not only can we get down to the bottom of what's going on, but that you can feel safe in the fact that we're doing so, but for your own safety as well. That's why I wanted to give you my contact information. So, we will definitely be in touch. But in order for me to get that answer to you, to tell you what that process will look like, will require me to get in a couple of conversations with a few of my colleagues and supervisors. I'm taking as many notes as I can in terms of what you've given me, so that way when we reconnect, it won't be us picking back up from square one. We'll be going right back into it as if we hadn't even ended the call.
Right.
All I'm asking for you from now, and I know it's a great deal to do so, but just a little bit of patience as we get down to the bottom of this, because as I'm sure there's a lot of moving pieces with this case. I just want to make sure that we have everything tied up before we move forward, okay?
No, I agree. And just so you understand, Jordan, I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you're going to super high level prioritize this, and that you understand that the Zelle issue is secondary to me now, because the Zelle issue just affected me. And that was, as I said, done on a separate phone system that had nothing to do with the one I called in on. It's not like I'm in Kansas City. That's why I'm saying, like, I know you have to talk to your colleagues. I understand it. I appreciate it. I know there's steps that have to be taken. Can you give me, since it's been 13 days since I made the first call on this, can you give me an approximate when you are going to get back to me?
I plan to get back to you well before the end of the week. My goal, obviously, as soon as we get off the phone here, is to get in touch with my supervisors and try and lay down that groundwork to see what this process is going to look like. But I will definitely be giving you a call before Friday. I can't say exactly what date or what day, but it will be before the end of the week before we touch base again. I promise you that.
Okay, I appreciate it. And so you're in you're California time? Are you California time?
I'm actually on the East Coast. So I'm on Eastern time. It's quarter to 4 p.m. right now.
Okay, so I'm, just so you know, so I'm 6 hours ahead of you. And, you know, obviously this is important, but obviously I sleep as well. So I think anytime until like 4 p.m. East Coast time. And if it's going to be before Friday, so it would either be before 4 p.m. Tuesday, so what is today's Monday, either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday before 4 p.m. East Coast time, just to make sure I can physically answer the phone. If by some chance you get my voicemail, you can leave a message. I would also ask you, if you try to reach me and by some chance you can't, or even if you reach me and you get my voicemail, would you kindly send me an email to the email address that's on my account, just as a double sort of, let's make sure we don't miss each other in the loop kind of thing?
So unfortunately, we are unable to send outgoing emails. Our email is only for
it's only
use.
That's fine. That's fine. Then just be persistent. If you call me and you leave me a message, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, if I don't reach you, you say I get your voicemail, I'll leave obviously a voicemail, stating that this is me from Wells Fargo. Give me a call back at this number. But I'll also try you again a couple minutes later just to double check. I'll try you at least 2 times before I wait to hear back from you.
That's perfect. Yeah, because I've got call waiting on this, but you know how sometimes two calls come in at the precise same moment. One gets thrown to voicemail, the other one picks up. So, Jordan, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, and please, I know this is being recorded, but I understand. I appreciate your taking this seriously. I appreciate your fast tracking this. And my goal is to have my issue and the issue that's obviously a Wells Fargo issue solved as quickly as possible for all of us, for your company, your clients, including myself. And that unfortunately, some people, and I didn't even know that this kind of hacking existed until the last few years, and this is a whole new level of it. That's why we contacted the FCC and the FBI, just to ask questions about what kind of spoofing, what kind of skimmers, and nobody's even heard of this technology before that your fraud department verified actually happened. That's what's so trippy about the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And actually, while I have you, before I let you go here, sir, I know you said that you spoke with the fraud department. Do you have either like a case number or reference number that I can bring up to them so you can jump right into this as well?
Yeah, the last woman I spoke with at fraud,
like
it was this afternoon my time. I only speak English and French, but I'm a writer, so I tend to be good with accents. She sounded like she had a Filipino accent. Her name was Jasmine. She was in the online fraud department. And because I asked her as well before she started talking, before our conversation, just like I did with you, is it okay if I record the call? I did not note the case numbers. If you can stay with me on the phone for literally like 2 minutes, I can pull up the audio and she says what the case numbers are on that call. Do you want to do that so I can give them to you? All right, let me just go grab that phone. Hold on just 1 second.
Yep, you take your time.
You know, it's like, even though Arizona, where I'm from, and where my wife and I raised our boys, is I think they call it a one-party recording state. I always like to ask everybody wherever I mean, here in Switzerland, you can't record conversations unless you ask, but that's not the only reason I'm asking. I'm asking you just out of courtesy because I don't like anybody recording me unless they tell me and you guys told me. So let me pull up the audio. Okay, we talked for 50 minutes and 11 seconds today it ended at 3:58 p.m. I'm going to forward toward the end of the conversation because I'm pretty sure that's when she says the case number. So just hang out. You might have to listen to a minute or so of just us talking, and then she'll say the case numbers. Is being updated. But what about it?
Yes.
What's the other part?
In regards to the number, the one that if it's okay to add the new phone number to your account, that is not part of the IVR of Wells Fargo.
And that's not part of your IVR? Or IDR?
Yes.
IVR. It's not part
IVR.
of... Oh, IPR. Yeah. Sorry. I'm like... it's an acronym for... What does it even stand for? Identity...
It's an active voice. So, like pressing 1 for yes or 2 for no, like that.
Oh, she'll get to the case numbers in a minute. Voice recognition or something like that? IVR?
Yes.
So you're saying that the IVR, where it asks you to press 1 or 2, that the Wells Fargo system does not have that ability. That's all I need to know. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they provided that information. That's not part of Wells Fargo.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Jasmine, you've been extremely helpful in helping me solve this puzzle. I appreciate it. Sorry this took like 45 minutes for you to do. I'm sure you've got other clients that have bigger issues.
Of course.
And may I ask, just so I know, and I know you're in the fraud department, so I don't need anything else other than your first name, but like, this is like the regular online fraud department, and is there any kind of like ID number or case number or anything on my file that I need to reference? So I'm pausing for a second so you know. So she's about to give you 2 different case numbers, or me, but you can write them down, okay?
Okay.
So I can just keep note of all these calls.
Of course, I can provide you, let me see here. 1 second.
This is where she was looking for a minute, I think, for the case numbers.
Alright, I can provide you a case number.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so let me know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready because, like I said at the beginning, you said it was okay to record this. I'll listen to the end of this to write it down, so you can just speak it because it's still recording anyway.
Okay, so the case number for your account is 267-887-313.
Okay, and that's a case number registered with the online fraud department.
This is a case number that is under your account, but if you want the case number under our department, this is 255-516-489.
Okay, so the second one is the one with the fraud department. What was the first case number related to, so I understand if I... Okay. All right, Jordan, did you get that?
So I got the second one is 255-516-489. If you wouldn't mind letting it play just a little bit more so we can get that first case number, I just want to make sure I have that one correctly.
Yep, let me go back just a couple of seconds or whatever that was. That way you're hearing it from the horse's mouth, not me trying to repeat it to you.
I can provide you, let me see here. 1 second.
She was really, really nice and really helpful, just like you are, which I really appreciated after talking to dozens of people who didn't take this seriously, unfortunately.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but we'll definitely make sure that we get that taken care of. I have the first number as 267-887-313. Just want to confirm with you that was what.
I can provide you a case number.
I'll confirm them both.
Okay, so let me know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready because, like I said at the beginning, you said it was okay to record this. I'll listen to the end of this to write it down, so you can just speak it because it's still recording anyway.
Okay, so the case number for your account is 267-887-313.
Okay, and that's a case number registered with the online fraud department.
This is a case number that is under your account, but if you want the case number under our department, this is 255-516-489.
Okay, so the second one is the one. Okay, so I've got 267-887-313 as she said online fraud for your account, meaning my account, and then she said for our department, I guess meaning her department, 255-516-485 or 489. Did you get those?
489. Okay, perfect. Those are the two that I have. So first one under your account, second one under her department. So I'll make sure to bring both of those up when I reach out to my colleagues in the fraud department, so we can kind of collaborate a little bit further. But just want to make sure that everything we have here thus far, just kind of going to go over full scale so we can kind of wrap this up. We have the two, obviously, which is the two complaints. One being the fraudulent charges through Zelle from a Justin Whitney for services rendered $100 and $150 both on May 16th, May 17th, and then also a spoof number, this 214 number that you gave me, which is a false number, essentially letting us know that our call security has been compromised, and if it obviously is yours, it could be a wide scale issue, which we also thank you for bringing up to our attention.
And that's the thing, Jordan, is that if my number was spoofed, and I know you know this, that's why you said could be a wide scale issue. It is a wide scale issue. There's no question about it, because you guys don't have that system in place. This is why the hackers, they improve their stuff all the time. And I don't know why people do things like this, but it's like way out of hand. Spoofing my number in Switzerland, taken real seriously here. People are prosecuted criminally for that without question. Filtering, putting some kind of skimmer onto Wells Fargo system just to get information, I can't even imagine what kind of criminal code that violates and how many people this is affecting the longer this goes on. So thank you for expediting this. And, in the meantime, if you're able to put kind of like an overall note, I don't know if you can, on my account. Jordan, do you have the ability, and if you don't, it's okay, but do you have the ability to change my verbal password in your system?
I do not. I can look into that. So next time that we speak, I can see if that is within my capabilities. So.
Okay. Well, let's just say that unless any other issues come up, like another weird hacking issue or something, I'm not going to contact you guys again until I hear from you. But because we also found a property rented in my address on my Experian credit report in a place called Murrieta, California, where I've never lived, we know this has to do with identity theft on top of it. So just please put whatever kind of note in there for, security alert. There's obviously an alert in there. I'm sure there's an alert in my account somewhere so everybody sees it. So nobody's calling in unless they can verify every single piece of information, including that password. Because I'm not, like I said, I have no reason to call you guys, no need to call you guys until I hear back from you. And hopefully one of your colleagues is going to be able to do, not a miracle, but it's going to be able to find out how quickly we can do an NDA so I can get you this stuff. I know that Wells Fargo does not have offices in Switzerland, but from what I was told, there's bank, so I know you guys have representatives that I could hand the stuff over to, or we can figure out a way like an encrypted FTP upload or something so I can give you everything. But I won't just be dumping a bunch of information, just so you guys know. I'm not just going to dump it all and say figure it out. I'm going to help you guys figure it out together. That's the only way we can do this, because it's taken me 5 years and I'm pretty darn good at what I do now, having been hit so hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, sir, I know it's late over there, so I definitely appreciate you getting this information to me and the time. Like I said, it is now top priority. I'm going to get off the phone with you here and get in touch with my supervisor to see what our process is going to look like. And like I said, I'll be in touch with you before the week is over. That number that I gave you will be where I'm calling from, so just be on the lookout for that one. And then, of course, I have your best callback number, so we will be in touch, okay?
Excellent. Jordan, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you do the same, sir. You take care.
Thank you.
Yep, this is Jordan Thompson from Wells Fargo Advisors, giving permission to Neil Suits to record the call.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'll just share with you briefly what happened, and then kind of, I don't know if you have any new information, but and see kind of where you're at. First of all, I got a notice, one of those notices that my contact information had been updated again. I don't have the time in front of me, but I can look at it. It's one of those like in-app messages from Wells Fargo, and it references, in fact, I'll just pull it up and I'll read it to you verbatim. I just want to make sure this was sent out by you or by somebody on your team, because the other one, obviously, the first one we discussed was not. It was generated by Wells Fargo, but it was based on the fraud that we're looking into. So I'm just opening up the app. And this isn't the most concerning part. The most concerning part is what I'll get to in just a second. So I'm just going to profile and settings, contact information. And I want to make sure, Jordan, that you understand that I'm not leading this conversation. Like, I'm not guiding you to say what I want you to say. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this. And I know you know that, because I know you're taking this extremely seriously. I go to the message center, like I did with the other message that was dated 5/23 of 2022 that notified me that 214 number had been added, even though it wasn't my number. I got a message, it was marked June 7th, so that would be yesterday at 10:17 a.m., which I'm assuming is probably East Coast, but whatever, it's marked yesterday. And it says, the same subject, your contact information has been updated from online banking, the date, the time. We've updated your contact information, and then in this one it says old address, comma, email address, and / or phone number numbers, and then it lists the phone number 214-838-9956. So I looked at my profile on my app, and I saw that number had been taken out. So the first thing I need to know is, did you guys take that number out in the process of your investigation?
Yeah, I put a request into our service fulfillment team, and they were able to remove that false number from your account.
Okay. And Jordan, I understand, and please be assured, I have full faith in what you're doing, because I know you're trying to get to the bottom of this. But I need to ask you so I understand. I know you never put this 850 number into my profile, obviously, because we both agreed that was not the place to put it. But the concern was overall, because this is a robocall spider number, that 214 number, that once it's in a system, it has the ability to access anything within that infrastructure. When you recorded my phone number in your system, was it recorded on paper or was it recorded on some kind of computer? And I don't mean in my profile, and I'm not accusing you, I'm just asking, because then I need to tell you what happened today. Well, actually, what happened right after the 850 one I'm calling from, the same one I called you from the other day. The one that I was.
That one, Let's see. Hold on one second.
And please understand, Jordan, I'm not blaming you. I'm not accusing you.
911.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it in a computer in Wells Fargo somewhere? Any computer?
It is on a notepad. It is on the notepad application in my computer.
Okay. So here's what happened. After you and I spoke, like literally within an hour, I got a call from a restricted number. Now, restricted numbers could be my colleagues calling me because some of them like to block their numbers. They just don't like them shown. And I picked it up. And the number that I have, this 850 number, is, like I told you, it's anonymous. It's not in my name. It's secure. And it's strictly for me and my co-CEO and some high-level contacts we have that we do deals with. So I got a call. It was a robocall. And it was, like I said, it was an hour or so roughly after, maybe a little later after you and I had spoken. But it was during the time that I had already given that number to a couple other people at Wells Fargo. When I picked it up, it was marked restricted, as I said, and then it just had this weird, like kind of vague buzzing sound something, and I just hung up. And since that point, I got 2 other calls. And again, take this with a grain of salt. I told you that my colleague and I want to get this straightened out. We need to get it straightened out for our own security, for the security of Wells Fargo, for all the clients, etc., because we have a 9-figure deal closing, which is nothing that either one of us have ever even gotten near in, I mean, we're both like in our 50s, okay? Like we've never done a deal like this. And we were scared because of this security, this clear security breach in my bank account, which touches 3 different accounts, including my brokerage account. We were doing what's called a bridge deal before then, which means we were doing a smaller deal with another organization that had nothing to do with the industry or the organization that we're doing the 9-figure deal with. And all of our communication with them within 12 hours of me speaking with you and going into depth, and I'm not saying you understand that. I'm just saying electronically because of the breach, our deal was severed, our deal was ended, all the communication with the company was cut, which is exactly what's happened to our business for 5 years plus. And like I said, it's never touched the bank. It's never touched our bank until now. But that's kind of why I had to call you back to find out there's no way on earth these people would have just backed out of the deal. And it was only like a $200,000 deal. It's not a 9-figure deal, but it was our bridge capital. And it collapsed, which is a pattern of behavior that's happened of deals going sour, like inexplicably with the... And I can tell you this much, the deal was with an organization that you might even be aware of because it's kind of a public, not a government organization, but they're a very well-known group of people. I can't even reach them anymore. And I got, like I said, I got that restricted weird robocall. I got 2 others. And then I was like, okay, so you verified that you put the number in Notepad. That's fine. That's normal because you had to figure out where to keep your list to contact me back. Where have you gotten on my case since then? Because I had to turn in the telephone that I called, the one that started me being aware of this, where I called and it spoofed the 214 number. That telephone was handed over to they're looking at every possible thing they can. So I needed to ask you, and sorry to call you on Wednesday when I was happy to wait until Friday, but where have you gotten on this? Because this breach is so bad that I just lost a $200,000 deal that was bridging us to the rest of what we were doing. And it's not your fault. It's not Wells Fargo's fault. It's just that now I know that this, whatever was in that 214 number that was in from May 23rd until you actually got on the case and got that request in to take that number out, that number was sitting in your system. Like I tried to tell all the other 20 or 30 people at Wells Fargo I talked to, it was sitting in your system for 2 weeks before somebody smart like you got to the case and got it removed. But it obviously penetrated the entire Wells Fargo computer system. It was exactly what it says, which is a robocall spider, which is once it's in the system, and you and I talked about this, It can grab anything at once. And apparently what they were looking for was this private secure number I have, which is no longer private or secure. So can you tell me if you've come up with anything yet on what's going on?
Yeah, I spoke with my supervisor yesterday. She informed me that kind of what our next steps should be. First, as I'm sure you're aware, the two Zelle transactions, we're giving that to fraud, as that's completely their department. I know that's obviously the lesser of the two issues, but at least want to bring that up. I gave them the fraud number that ended in 6489, and they mentioned that was for a case that was open back in last year, June of last year. I'm still waiting to hear back from them regarding the 7313 number. So hopefully that will be the one that's tied to that case. But obviously that hinges on their response there. In terms of the number, I was advised that removing the number would be the best thing to do if we felt that call security was compromised. Obviously, this is a new development. You're saying that with that number, they somehow got to...
Right, that's why I'm saying I'm not theorizing. I'm saying that when I first called Wells Fargo, right when I saw that number put in my system, and I called within a very rapid period of time, like hours, once I saw that, and I called Wells Fargo, and I told you before I talked to you and before I talked to Jasmine in fraud, who verified that the IVR system does not include phone recognition to start asking for, is this your new number? Before I got to Jasmine and you, people thought that I was just, some guy going off my rails and wasn't taking this seriously. And I told everybody, I said, it's a robocall spider number. If you look on Google, it shows it very clearly what that number is. And I said, the concern is that for me personally, is that it could grab any information I have, but it could also penetrate the entire Wells Fargo system, which is why that phone I told. And they're getting to the bottom of the bottom of the bottom forensically of what happened. But I'm saying the fact that nobody took me seriously until I got to Jasmine and you, who both, Jasmine especially, who verified the IBR doesn't include that. Nobody even thought it was, and it's not their fault. Okay, spoofing, yeah, but some kind of skimming device that wasn't your system. Apparently they thought it was some kind of joke, or they didn't take me seriously. But that number stayed in the Wells Fargo system for 2 weeks until you had it removed. And the only reason I know that the secure phone that I was secure was touched is because my IP address showed. And this is way before the Wells Fargo hit. And this is what I'm saying is that it's already in your system. So yeah, if they were just going after me, that's fine. But they had access to Wells Fargo for 2 weeks. And I'm sure they left a trace in there because that's what they do. And I told you. It's that serious. And the fact that I lost 200 grand. Okay, if you look at my bank account, you can see. Plus, Wells Fargo never even bothered to credit me back since whenever I made the complaint of the Zelle thing for even the $250 that was stolen out of my account. When it's clear that Jordan Whitney or Justin Whitney, whatever his name is, that account's being used in a U.S.-based bank account to run money for a hacking organization, which was the first issue. And I'm sorry, I'm really not trying to bust your balls at all. I'm grateful to you. I'm just saying I don't have a choice except to say something publicly about this now, because this has been 15 days. And I just lost my bridge deal, which means I didn't just lose it, my colleague lost it. And he's pissed. And I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I never got the provisional credit. You're doing everything you can. I know you are. And I know from based on our last conversation, you guys have never seen anything like this before. I get it. Hacking gets advanced. We talked about that. Everybody knows it. So I need to know, is Wells Fargo going to give me, and I know it's not your decision, the mutual non-disclosure based upon the proven hacking of my account and your system with the IVR system, as Jasmine said, not existing like that. Like we talked about it. You guys don't have that IVR system. We know your system got hit. Or do I have to protect myself, my company, my colleagues, and everybody I'm dealing with and save my own company and my own future by actually saying something publicly? And understand, I am not threatening, I am not extorting. Jordan, you know very well, I haven't asked Wells Fargo for a single thing. Well, I'd like my $250 back, that'd be nice. It's kind of ridiculous, nobody ever gave me that. I'm just saying that this is getting so out of hand. And I told you in the beginning of our first conversation, they're calling me crazy where I am because of this. And I will not be defamed, I will not be called crazy. And remember, if you remember in our conversation, my psychiatrist was the one that saw enough to tell me to get the non-disclosure, and I got it fast. They saw enough, they signed up. 17 people are working on the case. Then whoever this is, hit the bank. So I need to know, like today, am I getting a mutual non-disclosure based on the fraud and the breach of Wells Fargo that your fraud department already verified for me on a recorded line, or do I need to keep waiting? Because I can't really wait anymore. And I'm sorry, Jordan, to put this on you. I really am, but I literally cannot wait another day until I have something in my hand, because it will protect me legally and my reputation. Because what they're doing is they're dropping.
And just to clarify, you're looking to gain an NDA so you can hand over the evidence to Wells Fargo regarding the fraud, correct?
Well, yeah, to hand it over to you, and also to protect my reputation. Because people that come up with "I'm being hacked," a lot of people like to say, "Oh yeah, I'm being hacked." It's bad. It's bad. But if I keep talking without showing the proof publicly, and what I can show publicly at this point is so shocking in terms of the and I can't on the non-disclosure, and I can't say what they're looking into specifically, but I told you there's IP redirection in places where they don't have servers and things like that. If Wells Fargo is not willing to do that with me, I have no choice but to protect my own reputation at this point, because 15 days is too long. Forget the provisional credit. I know this phone is no longer secure. It's a fact. It's proven. My IP address is not in Arizona. So I need to know, is it happening, and is it happening today? Or do I need to protect all of the Wells Fargo customers, forget me, everybody, by letting them know there was the biggest breach that's ever been known to Wells Fargo, including me, forget me. But it's already been verified by your fraud department. I need something in my hands because I need to give it to the authorities where I live, through my lawyer and through my shrink, so they get off my back. Stop calling me crazy, and I can go back through third parties to the clients that I've been dealing with where deals have been falling apart and say, hey, don't worry, there was actually a hack. And the stuff that was put on your computer or whatever they did to your computer that got you to back out, it's being taken. Do that. I can't lose anymore, Jordan. I literally can't. I can't lose any more money, any more business, or any more of my reputation. Every day that goes by, there's something else that happens. And I'm glad you had that number taken out, but it was too late. And I told the first person I talked to, if you, I'm sure you have the ability to listen to every conversation from the beginning. I was very, very, very patient and polite until I got to the guy before you, Mamesh or whatever, when I blew my top, when he started patronizing me. And I understand what the law is. I understand what the laws of extortion are. I understand what the laws of ethical hacking are. I'm not a hacker that was trying to breach your system to prove you were hacked so I could get a bug bounty. I'm a guy that got, pardon my French, and the only one that's moving fast, and Wells Fargo is dragging their feet. And you guys are managing $1.7 trillion that's vulnerable right now. And I have enough to show that that entire system is vulnerable. So all I want is a non-disclosure, but I want a non-disclosure that says your fraud department verified that that IVR system does not exist. My account was breached. There was a number put in there that was put in through a spoof. All the stuff you've already told me. I'm not telling you to create stuff, and I need it today. I literally need it today because I have to save my own reputation otherwise. But I want to give you guys everything you need so you can just call whoever you need to call at the DOJ or the FBI or whatever it is and go grab their freaking computers and their hacking equipment and stop them from doing this to people because it's affecting a lot of people. So that's my diatribe.
Yeah, so no, and I definitely, trust me, I understand where you're coming from. I appreciate you giving me this information. And I hope you understand that I myself am not in the position to make that decision. I'll have to get in touch with my supervisor and bring that information to her and go from there. Obviously, I'm going to employ that she listen to the call so she can hear what it is that you have to say in totality, but I'll also give her the notes that I've written down here in regards to the situation and how it's updated from our call on Monday.
Yeah, and Jordan, have her listen to and I'm not cutting you off, but if she's going to listen, have her listen to the call with Jasmine before I talk to you. She wasn't the only one that verified it, but she verified it backwards and forwards. Your system at Wells Fargo does not have that functionality. That's your fraud department that verified that, which verifies not only the spoof on my end, but the fact that there's some weird skimming thing going on your end. And it took 14 days to get that number out. And it's too late. And it needs to be dealt with immediately. They're busting his balls saying, has Neil gotten an answer yet? Has he gotten an NDA? Are they going deep into this, or are they is somebody passing the buck? And I'm not saying you are. I know you don't have the authority to do it. I don't know if your supervisor does. But they did it faster than a speeding bullet with a fraction of what I've given you. They didn't even verify it on their end yet. They just saw oddities. You guys have already verified the hack. Your fraud department verified you were breached. So you guys should be the first ones to get me an NDA quicker than life itself.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so But the longer that you guys give them by not moving on this and letting me get you the information, the more damage they're going to do. And your IT security people.
No, and yeah, I definitely understand. Like I said, I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. What I'm going to do, sir, is I've already reached back out to fraud in regards to excuse me, those cases. I'm looking to get more updates from them. I'm going to reach out to my supervisor as soon as I get off the line here and see what the process is for, if we can get that NDA, if that's possible, how do we go about that, what that would look like. And as soon as I have that information, I'll reach back out to you and let you know. I know that you said you need it by today. I cannot guarantee it will be by today, but the moment I get that information, you'll be the next person to know. You'll just have to bear with me. I'm asking for at least one more day. If that, I'm not trying to back you into a corner, just like I know you're not trying to do the same for me. It's just that this has a process that it has to follow, and I unfortunately do not know what that process is to even expedite that. I'm just looking to make sure that we do this by the book and that we get this all set.
No, I understand that. I mean, Jordan, look, as you know, your fraud department and you have both said to me, each in, from a different perspective, y'all have never seen anything like this before. Because it's high level. There is no IVR system to do this, this, and this. That system doesn't exist. I can tell you right now how it was handled. The fraud and security department, the people that were looking into it, they called legal. We had an NDA in our hands. Fast. Like faster than a speeding bullet. It's the legal department. It's general counsel's office. They're the ones that deal with this. So when I say today, I mean it's 10:30 where I am. I mean by the end of my day tomorrow. Because I have to report to people tomorrow. I have to report to people. And like I said, and I'm glad it's being recorded, movies like Conspiracy Theory with, what's his name, that movie years ago with Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson, and TV shows like Homeland where the girl works for, the CIA. Do you know these movies and shows I'm talking about? And people are like, oh yeah, they're crazy. Yeah. Until they finally figure it out. What you guys have already admitted yourselves admits the breach. What I'm holding in my hands is what's going to let you solve it. Why I'm not just handing it over is because I don't do anything unless I have a non-disclosure anymore, because it is true. And a whole bunch of people who I had make promises to me that I gave things to them, and then they got what they wanted, and they ran and they covered their own butts. And you guys have $1.7 trillion under your bank management. So I would suggest, based on our experience, tell your manager to call legal and general counsel, have them listen to the last couple of conversations, and tell them by close of business tomorrow East Coast time, get this guy an NDA, and not just an NDA, but an NDA that verifies what you've already verified. Because I can use that to protect myself, my reputation, and then Wells Fargo can use it so I can transfer you all the information you need so you can go after these people. Because like I said, it took me 5 years to get to this point, and they never penetrated my bank. So that's all you need to do is tell your supervisor, and I'm not telling you how to do your job, I'm just saying I just went down. Their IT security people knew they had to call legal. They had to get an NDA. The NDA had to be customized with specific wording at the end based on the existing proof of the breach. The breach of Wells Fargo is way worse than what they were looking at. I signed it. They signed it over that quickly. And they have a lot less at risk than you guys do. You have millions of people's money. And it doesn't matter whether they were just going after me or not. They're in your system. And there's nobody who can deny that at this point. Especially since your fraud department already admitted it. So I would advise that, and otherwise I don't know what else to do. I know you're doing everything you can, Jordan. I appreciate it. push your supervisor to push legal to get an NDA drafted, get it to me. I'll get the specific wording on the end. Have them listen to the conversation with Jasmine where she admits it because she had no choice. She couldn't lie to me about the IVR system not having that functionality, that my account was breached. If you're able to tell your supervisor, ask her, it would be really nice to at least get this guy his 250 credited back, because that's the secondary part. That's fine. That's all you need to tell them, and I guarantee you somebody in legal will want this locked down in an NDA, because if I'm not under an NDA, I can speak to anybody I want to protect myself. But my goal, as I said, and I'll let you go, is not just to protect me. It's to protect all the Wells Fargo customers. And they're going to run for the hills when they see what happened. And we don't want that to happen. I don't want it. You don't want it. I want my problems resolved. You want this thing patched. And it would be really nice if Wells Fargo, with all of your power, would actually take all my information and go after these people. Because you're not going to be looking in Albania or Russia. So are we down with that? Can you just please just push whoever you need to push? This is not standard. You've said it. I've said it. Jasmine said it. My lawyers have said it. My shrink said it. It's out of hand. I'm not losing any more business. I'm not extorting you. I'm not asking for anything except fix it. And let me help you fix it.
Yes, sir. Well, absolutely. Well, let me let you go, and let me get in touch with her before the end of our business day here, so we can try and get this drummed up. I definitely appreciate you keeping me in the loop, and like I said, as soon as I have any information, you'll be the first person I reach out to. I know that you said calling at about 4 p.m. my time would be best, but if obviously since this is now time sensitive, as soon as I get it, I'll give you that call.
It doesn't matter what time
that I gave to you yesterday.
Because of what happened since our last conversation, this phone is staying on and with me, whether I'm sleeping or whether I'm traveling. And the reason is tomorrow night is critical is because tomorrow night I have to go on a trip. And when I go on the trip, there will be no electronics with me. Not this phone, not a computer, not a USB drive. There'll be nothing with me. Because this thing has had such negative ramifications on my business and my reputation that I have to go see somebody to help me try to put this all together. And they're wanting to see an NDA with you guys too, to know that you guys are all over this. It's not going to be hard to nail the people down, I guarantee you. It'll be really easy.
Yes,
all right, I'll let you go, Jordan.
Thank you for bringing it to my attention, and yep. Yes, sir. You have a great rest of your day, and like I said, I'll be in touch, okay?
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right.
Yep.
Okay,
This is Jordan Thompson from Wells Fargo.
Jordan, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not cutting you off. I just turned it on. I had to get some new phone. So go ahead.
No worries. Yep. This is Jordan Thompson with Wells Fargo Advisors, giving Neil Suits the authority to record this call.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm all ears.
Yeah. No worries. Your timing actually couldn't have been better. I had you scheduled for a 3:00 call, so it was perfect timing. Okay. So a couple of updates. So just bear with me as we kind of go through these. I reached out to Fraud. They actually redirected me to the online customer service speech line for that case number ending in 7313 regarding obviously the two Zelle transfers. That case is still being researched. They have requested a refund from the other financial institution, but I was made aware that since there was no error in the actual transmitting of the funds, but rather a scam, it is a little bit harder to do. So you will have to be patient with them as they go through that information. Mm-hmm.
That's totally fine.
I do know that they said
that's totally fine.
Yes, sir. I do know that. they gave me a number if you wanted to get in touch with them directly for online claims that would have that information a little bit more readily available if you wanted to write this number down.
Yeah, I'll just grab a pen really quickly. Hold on 1 second, please.
Yep.
Okay, and this is for online claims?
Correct.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, that is 877-329-7736.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that information first. As you know from our prior conversations, that's really the least of my concerns right now, although it does concern me that there's somebody using a bank account in the U.S. associated with Zelle that's running that kind of scam. But that's, as you know, that's the least of my concerns. But thank you for that update, and thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that.
And then I got in touch with my supervisor in terms of both your account security being compromised, excuse me, and the legal aspects of this issue. First, in regards to the account, we recommend that you get in touch with that fraud department as well. That's actually who I was on the phone with when you first called in. I wanted to make sure that they would be the people to connect you to that would assist you with what is essentially called a lost and stolen transfer for your account. So what they would do is they would obviously authenticate you when you call in, but then from there they would take the funds that are in the account that is compromised and move them to a brand new account, just to give you that extra level of security and peace of mind. So that process is completely handled by our fraud department. They didn't give me a time frame on it, how long it would take, but from what I gathered when I was on the phone with the fraud representative, it seems to be something that they do regularly. So if you wanted to write this number down, I'm sure you already have it, but just so for my peace of mind, I know that I gave it to you again. The fraud department number. Okay. Let me know when you're ready for it.
I am ready.
Yep. It's 866-867-5568.
Okay. So, yeah, that's fine. I mean, because I've spoken with some consultants in the States as well who, because of the whole access to my identity, the weird property in Murrieta, California that showed up on my credit report, compromise of a lot of things, the fact that I handed over my phone and a computer, essentially on that. I'm just sort of tick-tock waiting, but that's a very intensive process, and they don't have a single millimeter of margin of error on what they do. I have to change my social security numbers, a lot of things that has to happen. But as you know, my major concern is your fraud department verified that you guys don't have that in your IVR system. And right after I started calling you guys, I know it wasn't in my profile because nobody put my number in my profile, the number I'm calling you from. But I started getting robocalls that I've never got. I don't get robocalls on this number. This number nobody knows except you guys, my colleague, and a couple of business people. And I started getting robocalls. And then, like I said, we were in the middle of a 6-figure bridge deal, and those people there's no communication anymore. It's gone. So I obviously want to get this all straightened out for myself, as you know, as I've said, for my colleagues and for all the Wells Fargo customers. And then when I logged in, and I'll pause and please allow you to continue, just so you know, when I logged in as a Wells Fargo customer again today, it took a lot longer to log in. I was like, that's weird. Maybe it's just because I'm overseas. It could take a little while. But then I logged in. It was like a completely different app. And I never got an email as a customer, and neither did my colleague. I called him and had him check with his personal banker. He was never notified. Did you guys just redo the entire app in the last 24 hours? Because it doesn't function, it looks completely different. The message center doesn't have those messages, those communications that I told you about that are in there. I mean, I took screenshots and everything, but I know you removed the number, which was obviously a good thing to do after you guys knew and your fraud department verified that your system was breached, my phone was spoofed, etc. But those messages are gone. The actual messages, everything else about my account, the money's still in there, everything's fine. But did you guys just not announce to everybody, but you just happened to, and I'm not being sarcastic, so you just happened to redo your app completely because it's a totally different app now?
I do know that there was an update to the app that was pushed out, I believe, last month. Nothing that I know of recently, but also that depends on how soon you might have updated the app. I don't know if perhaps on your phone you have automatic updates or you update them yourself. I do know that the Wells Fargo mobile app did have an update that was pushed through within the last month or so. I'm a Wells Fargo customer, and I know that my app, if I log in, it looks completely different as well. Now, in terms of the messages being deleted when you log in, have you logged in on like a laptop?
No, everything I've done, because I told you I'm not using my computers in the hands.
That's right.
But I have it set up where there's no auto updates. I have to manually, if there's any, whatever they're called, like it's an Android based phones, so you either set it so automatically update for the apps, you choose which apps you automatically update, or you choose manual notify me, blah blah blah. I have manual and everything, but suddenly my app was updated today, and nobody can update my app unless they're in my phone, like it's me, like, or somebody's got the phone. And like there was all this stuff starting with you guys. It's been going on 16 days now. Again, I'm not worried about the Zelle thing. Whatever, it's $250. I really don't care. I'm worried about what's behind that on that end. But like, even my colleague and I, our phone calls have been getting disconnected, which has never happened before. And so like, what are we doing for the security of Wells Fargo and the authentication of this? Because like I said, and I'm not being repetitive, and I know you're doing everything you can within the scope of your position, the telecommunications company that their aspect of it. And I was actually given a veiled threat today about this, more of like a piece of advice from somebody that I know that's a professional, that said, be really careful with what's going on with you right now, that none of this just suddenly leaks. And if you have a non-disclosure already with the telecom company, you better get one with Wells Fargo, and you better have that today like you asked for, because you are in a rather perilous situation with this. And like I said, I mean, we wanted the bridge deal. The bridge deal somehow, for whatever reason, it's blocked. We obviously can't put that money in, but we're still on hold on our 9-figure deal, and it's really not an exaggeration. What are we doing? What's Wells Fargo doing to do what the telecom company and the company are doing, which is we need to work together to figure out how this happened and why this happened to me, and not like stretch it out anymore, because it's too, there's a breach. There's a big breach, and I wasn't the one, I saw it, but you guys verified it. So where are we on that? Because the fraud department, yeah, they verified it, but they, you know, as you know, if you listen to all the series of all the calls, you know how it went down. I eventually got to customer advocacy. I talked to the one guy, or the one girl, Tracy J, I think first, or whatever it was, who connected me with Mamesh, and that was before I said you got involved, and you've been very helpful, you've been very responsive. The guy was very rude. I blew my top at him after dozens of phone calls of talking to other people and being thrown around. But you're being excellent, and I deeply appreciate it on behalf of myself, my colleague, and even if I don't know the rest of the people that are Wells Fargo customers, I think all of us are grateful for you guys being on top of this. But what is being done with the non-disclosure? So you guys and I can work together, and you can work with, I can disclose to you who the telecom company is in detail, who our contacts are, who the VPN people are, so you can work with them, because you guys, like, they're managing telecom, that's their industry. The other guys, you guys are managing $1.7 trillion of people's money. And so that's kind of where I wanted to be tonight, because it's already here, it's 9:15. I only have a couple more calls, and I'm just trying to take it easy because I've been up late working on this constantly on US hours. So what did they tell you? Because fraud apparently isn't the one that's going to get me the non-disclosure, because they had passed me over to customer advocacy.
Yeah, so I did speak with my supervisor, my direct supervisor, in regards to gaining that NDA, and she basically told me that that wouldn't be something that we'd be able to do at this time. I did, of course, stress to her the importance of the situation. I told her, essentially what you told me. We listened to the call as well in regards to the information that was given, and she said she'd like to take some more time to look at it before we can give that over. I do know, obviously, that is something that you were looking forward to, and that's something that is pressing. But I'm not going to tell you to not continue with your course of action. I just know that from our standpoint, from what I was told, that wouldn't be something that we could grant today. I do recommend, of course, that reaching out to fraud and getting your account for that transfer, that lost and stolen transfer, should be priority, obviously, so that way we can confirm that your account is secure and the integrity of your
Jordan anymore. That's the whole point. Okay. This has to do literally with everybody's account. And getting back to fraud and talking to them, they're the ones, and I can send you all the MP3s, they're the ones that verify. The IVR system does not do that. They verify the breach themselves. But they can't. It's not that I want the NDA just for me. Your customers don't know about this. The only people that know about this are me, everybody I've talked to at Wells Fargo that first didn't take me seriously until I got to fraud. But if your supervisor listened to all the conversations and she heard that conversation with the fraud person verified I could record it, and it's clear as a day. Wells Fargo admitted there was a breach of your system, as well as some weird breach of my own system here through the system it happened through. So I'm a little baffled as to why a bank that's managing $1.7 trillion isn't jumping quickly to do what a major telecom company did rapidly to protect all of their clients, because that's baffling for all of us. That doesn't make any sense at all, because this is not the kind of thing that anybody wants breached. Because if somebody's in your system, they're already messing with my stuff, that's for sure. That's verified. But if your own fraud people said it, why is your supervisor wanting to take more time to look into it when your employees have already verified it and it's been 16 days? I don't understand that.
So,
not being part
let me back that up a little bit. My apologies. When I said all the calls, I meant all the calls between myself and you. I'm not sure if she's been able to listen to those fraud calls, but like I said, at the moment, that's not something that we would be able to provide. I'm still going to continue pushing forward. Obviously, I know how important it is to you, and I can keep in contact with you, but I can't guarantee that that's something that we can put on the table for you at this moment. And I know, obviously, I wanted to get back in touch with you before Friday. That's the deadline that I had set for you. I'm going to continue working your case like I would have, but at this moment, our best course of action is for you to get in touch with fraud in order to get that lost and stolen transfer for your account, so that way we can guarantee the integrity of your account first, and then continue on down the road with whatever might be the case. Right, but I just wanted to give that information to you as well.
Jordan, I appreciate that on a personal level, but as I said, and it's not to be repetitive, my concern is that your fraud department verified that your IVR system was not that IVR system, but it interacted with your actual system, and it threw that robocall spider into. So this is a concern for all Wells Fargo customers, and it happened because of a breach in my system, which created a breach in your system. But it doesn't just affect me. This is what is concerning all of us now. This is a huge... This is what I'm saying. This is the stuff that makes people run for the hills. And I've been at Wells Fargo's disposal since this happened 16 days ago, until I finally got to you a few days ago, and you've been great. But I have to ask a question, so it's just said, and it's not to be facetious nor sarcastic, but Wells Fargo wants to look into this further when you've already verified a breach of your own system and a non-existence of this particular application of the IVR that doesn't even exist, that threw that number into my system. You've removed the number for the security, clearly, of Wells Fargo and myself, but especially of all the other Wells Fargo customers. I've made all of the evidence that I have at your disposal, but you guys have already verified it yourself. I'm baffled. Mike, I'm beyond baffled And I went looking just to see, like, in general, nothing to do with you, but in general, like, how does Wells Fargo hire, like a lot of big companies do, like Apple and things? Do they hire ethical hackers through, like, Bug Bounty and all those, whatever those sites are, Immuni and blah, 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 to secure their systems? And I see that Wells Fargo has been doing this since June of 2020, and yet I just brought to you, which you guys, not you, Jordan, but like I brought to Wells Fargo the information that Wells Fargo authenticated as a massive breach that nobody's ever even heard about in the banking industry. And I'm being asked to wait again, and which means that all of your customers are still vulnerable, and your own fraud department verified it. I'm kind of floored. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not like I'm coming to you saying my account was just breached, I think somebody stole money. That is nothing. That's not the case. You guys said your system was breached. So what am I supposed to do here? Like, I have an ethical I have an ethical, moral responsibility, as well as a fiduciary responsibility as a client, a stakeholder, and who has clients that I have colleagues that have enormous amounts of money in Wells Fargo. And they're all essentially counting on me to have made sure that Wells Fargo said, we are on it. We made sure, no. This is not the kind of thing that should take 16 days, or that I should be asked to take another day to wait, because you're not asking me to wait. You're not informing all of your customers that there was a massive breach. I'm the only one that knows, except you guys, because you told me how it happened on your end, and you guys can't even explain it. So I'm saying, why isn't anybody being told anything? And I'm sorry to put this on you, Jordan. I know this is not your particular sector, but there's something wrong if this is being asked to be delayed again. This is a vulnerability that your fraud department says clearly affects all Wells Fargo customers, and nobody's being told. And the only reason I wanted the mutual non-disclosure is so we can exchange all of our information, and I can direct you back, as I've said, if people listen back to our recorded calls, to the people we believe are actually behind this. And I'm not withholding that information. I'm just saying, why wouldn't Wells Fargo's legal and security people be all over this to protect the entire system? That doesn't make any sense. And where are those messages that were in my system that are no longer there? Because I went through, I found what's called it's not called Message Center anymore. It's called Alerts, which kind of looks like the old Message Center, but there's nothing there. They're not there. When I got those two warnings saying that there was a contact change, adding that 214-838-9956, and then I suddenly got one, when you had it, you made the request, and I didn't know you did, but it was great that you did, to have the number removed. Those messages aren't even in my system anymore. And I'm not saying this, but my colleague actually said it to me today, and I can't even disclose who he is. He's ready to talk to you as well, but he's a pretty high profile kind of guy. Like, his name would ring bells all over Wells Fargo, and his family's name would. But like, he's saying, is somebody trying to cover this up? He asked me, because Neil, those messages are gone. They're out of your account, and you weren't notified as to an update, but suddenly your phone updated today. There's no non-disclosure. The breach affects all Wells Fargo clients, and he's more concerned about him and his colleagues and family and trusts and and Wells Fargo advisors and but we're both starting to be concerned about all of the Wells Fargo customers. And let me be very clear, I am not threatening, I'm not extorting. I haven't asked for anything except to work with you guys. But do you understand what kind of pressure this puts me under? Like, somebody has to say something. There's an ethical, moral, and fiduciary responsibility for somebody to say something. And I have asked permission for the calls with fraud, with the other lady I talked to, and with you to be recorded. You have been extremely great. Jasmine was excellent as well. The fraud lady was excellent. She scared the pants off me when she actually said that. When Jasmine said that the IVR system doesn't exist like that, which is why I handed over my electronics, except this phone and a little recorder. Like, I'm really not trying to be repetitive or obnoxious, but Jordan, this doesn't make any sense that those messages are gone and I'm being asked to wait another day on top of it. I don't care about the messages being gone. I don't care about the app updating. You're asking every Wells, not you, but we're essentially all Wells Fargo customers this is being kept a secret. when every one of your clients should have received a notification that there was a breach and it's been patched, or the system is down for 72 hours while you guys are working. I don't know how you guys figured that, how to secure your system, but your system's not secure. So what are we doing here for all the Wells Fargo customers? I'm really baffled.
Yes, sir. And I can understand your confusion. I can only pass on the information that was handed down to me. Like I said, I'm going to continue looking into it. I can't advise you to take one step or the other. Obviously, for your own security and then for your personal well-being. But I can only give you the answer that was given to me once I presented the facts to my supervisor. So I know that's not obviously the outcome that you were hoping for, but that unfortunately is the outcome that we've arrived to at this moment. If you'll give me a moment, if I can ask you a quick question. I know that you mentioned this call to the fraud department with Jasmine. Do you know what day that took place?
I'd have to pull it up. It's been burned to a CD and put on an external USB drive, but I can pull it up. I just can't pull it up while I'm talking to you because it's like.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean,
that's fine.
It was. I mean, the call that I partially played for you the other day, where she connected me, she spoke with the person because she didn't know. She was like, I don't know about the IVR system. Then she went looking, and then she verified that doesn't exist. And then like this Swiss people, like, I mean, what am I supposed to tell people over here? But one of the biggest banks in America won't make this fast track. I'm like, of course I can get you anything you've asked me for that I've been able to offer you. I've gotten you. I'm not withholding anything. I'm the one who's actually now in I don't even know what kind of position it is. I'm the one who's the customer, the only customer except for my colleague who's not directly involved in this, but as a Wells Fargo client, he is involved because your system was breached. I'm kind of in a position where, what am I supposed to do? Become a whistleblower? I'm not really interested in doing that. I have banked with Wells Fargo since 1997. And despite the dozen or so people I talked to before I got to Jasmine, you and the fraud lady and then whoever she spoke with and her supervisor that verified that on the IVR, people were rather pleasant, but as I've said, and these calls have shown, nobody took it really seriously. And why doesn't the CEO know of this? Why doesn't your vice president of IT know of this? Why aren't they on the phone with me? And why don't I have something so you guys can do something about this and notify your clients, or lock it down and then notify your clients afterwards like most companies do? There was a breach. We took care of it. The more days that go by, the more it looks like Wells Fargo is actually trying to cover this up. And I'm not into conspiracy theories, but it's really looking odd at this point. And my colleague, and this doesn't make any sense to any of them. And they don't even know the details. It's just my colleague that knows. And he's, talked generally about an issue that his friend and partner has without going into any of the details, because I told him, keep it down, keep it quiet. This is not something that needs to leak, because Wells Fargo will get me what the telecom company. Of course they will, because they're managing $1.7 trillion. Why would they bury what they already admitted was a breach of their system, and why not announce it and patch it and figure it out and dedicate 24/7 to doing it? So I appreciate you're doing everything you've done. I guess I have a decision I have to make. And I'll repeat, you know very well, Jordan, and everybody can listen to every call I've made, except for when I got very unpleasant with Mamesh, who was rude and did not take me seriously. There were no threats. There was no nothing with him. I haven't asked for anything. I'm not extorting you guys, blackmailing you guys. I'm trying to help all the Wells Fargo customers. It's just that because it happened to me, that's how you guys found out about it. I don't want anything except the whole system secure and verification for all the Wells Fargo customers. But 16 days, 17 days, 18 days, how much damage is going on inside the system that you guys don't even know about? Because there's already been significant damage. That's clear. So I know you can't do anything, but like if your direct supervisor, who I don't know what the title would be, but if your customer, is it customer advocacy?
This would be complaint executive office.
Complaint. So if it's complaint executive office, shouldn't somebody go? You guys are in San Francisco. I don't know if you're in San Francisco. I think if I remember, you said you were East Coast, but like, shouldn't somebody like be contacting the CEO and saying, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, because I don't have their name off the top of my head, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just saying, we had a massive, massive breach. We're not just looking into it. Our fraud department already verified it. It happened because of this one client that we have over here. He hasn't said anything to anybody because he's been counting on us to get this secure, and all he wants is a mutual non-disclosure agreement. He doesn't want it leaking, but now he's being put under massive pressure because it looks like Wells Fargo is covering this up, because that's what I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying Wells Fargo is. I'm just saying it's kind of looking weird at this point. Any other bank that I know of, I think, would probably make a massive security warning or shut down your online system until it's figured out. And I'm not even in your industry. I mean, I'm in finance. I used to be in venture capital. I got a cousin. Those kinds of people would lock down their system and notify their clients. The system's locked down. We had a breach, but everybody's now secure because nobody can access anything for X amount of days. But you guys are kind of going along. Wells Fargo is like, it's just everyday business. That's concerning. So I appreciate you're doing everything. I don't know who your supervisor is or what their level of accessibility is, but accessibility to the CEO of Wells Fargo and your board of directors is pretty simple if it comes from Reuters or from the Associated Press. And that's what I'm scared about. But I told you in the beginning, when we started talking, this is not Mel Gibson in conspiracy theory. This has nothing to do with anything like that. But I had people saying that I'm actually crazy, that my phone was even being tapped. That was verified, clearly verified already by multiple sources. But I told you who sent me to you guys to get me to push this into the telecom company. It was my shrink. I showed him the non-disclosure. Why the heck is Wells Fargo not doing anything and moving like at a slug's pace on this when they're managing that much money, and you're holding this enormous weight over your head to shut your mouth because it would cause a massive exodus of clients because there's a trust issue? So I guess I've done everything I can. You've done everything you can. If your supervisor hasn't taken this seriously enough when your fraud department already verified it, I can't keep repeating the same stuff over. This is a massive problem, and I don't know how to contact your CEO or except by going through the media. I don't even know what to do that. My colleague can call probably, and they're going to look back and see this started on May 23rd and nothing's being done. This is like escalation. Like, why isn't anybody escalating this to the actual executive team and board of directors? Somebody who can say, shut it down, find out why our IVR system was hacked, because we already verified it, and notify our clients that our system's offline, or whatever you would need to do. That's beyond my capacity on how that would be handled PR-wise or even technologically. Technologically, I mean, I imagine you just shut down your online system for a day. But like, do you understand the pressure and the position this puts me in at this point?
No, I definitely do, and like I said, that's something I tried to stress to those around me. And like I said before, I can only disseminate the information that was given to me to you. I'll continue to look into it. I'll continue to see, what other avenues we have. I'm here until 5 o'clock our time, so there's a good chance you might get another call from me at this number. But at the moment, from what I've heard, is that an NDA wouldn't be available to you at the moment. But like I said, I will continue to look into the issue, because I know that you stressed the importance of it.
Well, the end, just so you know, and I'll let you go. The NDA is a mutual NDA. It's about protecting the privacy of the breach of Wells Fargo as well. That's the point of it being mutual. And the other part of it is, forget the NDA. Why haven't I been given any assurances that you guys actually figured out what the heck happened and how somebody tapped your IVR system and changed it, because that's what your fraud department clearly made it very clear is what happened. Or if that's going on behind the scenes, that's great, but shouldn't I even know that you guys did something, that somebody's doing something? That's the thing, whether NDA or no NDA, you guys haven't even said, nobody said, and I'm not saying it's your job, but nobody's even said to you, tell Mr. Suits that we found what it was and it's been dealt with, because it clearly has not been dealt with. That's for sure. But the mutual NDA was mutual, which is why we signed. It wasn't to protect me. I was doing it so I could freely and securely transfer information without any worry about it being grabbed in between somewhere. You know, secure FTP upload, that kind of stuff. But like, that's actually my biggest concern, just so everybody knows at the end of this call, is not the fact that I don't have the NDA. That's too bad, but it's actually the fact that nobody's even assured me that this has even been taken care of, and it's been 16 days. And it's been at least 3 or 4 days since Jasmine. Well, it was the same. It was the next day, or I think it was. Wasn't it Jasmine that introduced me to you?
I think it was a Claudia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, right. Jasmine introduced me to Claudia, who introduced me to you. But that whatever day that was, that's I'm sure marked on your computer. That had to be 4 or 5, 6 days ago. I can look at my notes. I can look at the recording, but like, nothing's even been done in that period. Like, nothing's been done even in that period of time to lock down the system for Wells Fargo. And I, as a novice, was able to figure out what that number was and what it does. I'm a little nervous. I'm beyond nervous. I'm not really nervous about my well-being. I'm more nervous about how I'm supposed to handle this. Whether I'm supposed to say, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say something publicly. I think legally I am, because I'm holding information that Wells Fargo doesn't want to discuss or resolve. And I'm being told, wait. Your online system should be taken off until it's figured out, and I should be assured of that so everybody's secure. But it's out of your hands, I guess, and your supervisor, maybe it's out of his or her hands. But like, supervisors are supposed to escalate things to the highest level when there's a breach of a major bank that's managing $1.7 trillion. It's not me saying it. So you guys said it. I appreciate everything you're doing and done. You can call me, like I said. I mean, you said you're there till 5 East Coast time, which is another 90 minutes. If they change their mind and they decide that they want to admit that it happened, which they already did, and that it's been patched, or they're taking the online system down, or the IVR system is being taken down temporarily while this is fixed. But I guess I'm in a position now where I have to decide, am I going to say something? Because I don't know what to do at this point. I'm not letting all Wells Fargo customers be subject to a massive breach and keep the secret to myself. That's not the kind of person I am. I don't make stuff up, and I don't keep secrets that affect people's savings and trusts and the bank accounts that they have. When, I mean, I don't know what it's like in America now. I hear the economy is pretty much in the poo-poo right now. It's really bad for people. And people are earning and they're spending, and they're earning and they're spending. But even people that are rich don't want to have their money at risk. So I don't know, man. I guess I'm baffled, but I appreciate, Jordan, just so when your supervisor hears this conversation, they hear all of our conversations. You've been the most helpful person, and Wells Fargo should promote you to a position where you actually would have the capacity to actually call somebody on the real executive team, like the executives, and tell them what's going on, because whoever's blocking that is really causing harm and risking a lot for a lot of Wells Fargo customers. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. And I mean that I don't mean that emotionally. I mean, that's really sad. There's so many people and their money's just sitting there, and God knows what's going on inside your system, but you guys aren't dealing with it. I don't mean you, but you aren't dealing with it. You're asking me to take delays again, so I'll leave my phone's on. Like I said, I keep it on. If you want to call, you're welcome to call if you find out something new. But I'm not pleased. So just so Wells Fargo knows, on behalf of all Wells Fargo customers, and I surely don't know all of them, I just know a few, I'm extremely displeased that Wells Fargo has not taken this seriously enough to lock down the system and warn the customers that there was a breach. And I don't like keeping this secret, and it's getting to the point where it's going to make it legally liable for me, which is why people become whistleblowers. I don't want to be a whistleblower, Jordan. I really don't. It's not my thing.
My
life's confusing enough.
I definitely understand that.
It's really confusing enough.
I understand that, sir, and I appreciate those words there. I do want to stress, of course, the importance of reaching out to that fraud team. I know, obviously, you said it's a minor incident. It's not it's not what you are most worried about, but it is at least a step in the right direction regarding your account, and having them do that lost and stolen transfer for your account. And like I told you, I'm going to continue to reach out to people and see what can be done. I can't make any promises. I don't want to do that, because I do want to be straightforward and give you the facts that they were presented to me. But at this moment, that is where we're standing.
That's totally cool.
If anything changes in the next hour, if anything changes in the next hour, of course you'd be the first person to know.
I appreciate that. I mean, my position is, so what I'm going to do right now, I mean, I'll wait to hear from you, obviously, for the next hour or so, hour and 20 minutes until it's 5 East Coast time and you're off there. I guess if we don't have a resolution, at least for myself, my colleagues, I'm just going to withdraw the rest. I mean, there's not much left in my accounts with Wells Fargo anyway. I'm going to withdraw them and close them tomorrow, and I'm going to advise my colleagues to do the same thing, and then I have to figure out what I have to do from there. But it's going to be a massive exodus. They have a lot of money, but I have to at least do something, and then I have to consult with my lawyer in New York, who's an American lawyer, not somebody who's here. My lawyer here is brilliant in Switzerland, but the American banking system's different. I need to find out what my liabilities are, because I don't want to hold this secret anymore. But I mean, I have to pull my money out unless you call me back. And I'm not saying if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. I'm saying if I don't have a resolution myself by the end of today, that something was done, NDA or no NDA, that you guys locked down the system, I have to pull my money out, and I have to advise my colleagues to. Then I'll consult with my attorney, and he'll advise me on whether or not I have a legal responsibility to say something publicly about this. And I appreciate you're doing everything, and I hope that Wells Fargo is smart enough one day and somebody sees you're a gem in the company. You should have whatever position you have, they should promote the hell out of you. Because if you were in a position to control the situation, I know you would have had the system locked down, and I know you would have had the NDA. But it's not your fault you don't have that kind of pull. It's the people that are above you that aren't listening, and it's really unfortunate. But I thank you for everything. I remain at your disposal. Even after I pull my money out, I remain at your disposal. But I will be pulling my money out. I will be closing all of my accounts. There's no question. So will my colleagues. Unless we have an answer in the next hour. But I have to. I have to at least protect my friends and colleagues. And then I'll talk with my lawyer, as I said, and I'll decide if I have a legal responsibility to say something publicly. And I appreciate everything you've done, and I'm at your disposal. Like I said, you call me anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I said, if anything changes, you'll definitely be the first person I reach out to.
I appreciate it.
I'm wishing you the best, obviously, and want to make sure that I'm not trying to hinder you in any way, or with what you need to do. Please protect yourself. You do what you need to. But I will be reaching out if there's any new information. I'll be continuing with your case after this call, as I had mentioned, with confirmation that I gave you the fraud number for the security of your account, as well as the updates on those two claims. On the claim for those two Zelle payments. But please, feel free to reach out to those numbers that I provided you, so you can get some updates on those ends as well. Okay?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll reach out to them before I actually officially close my accounts. I mean, I offered the information of all the text messages and everything, but I mean, you guys have the name of the guy, you have the name of the account, so I know you guys can figure that out. But I told them I'd get them everything they want. It's just, forget the NDA. Nobody even asked me for all the text messages that had the other number on it. Like, nobody's asked me for all the stuff. So, of course, I'll give it to you guys whether I'm a client or not. And I appreciate everything. Really, I really do, Jordan. You're a good guy. And they really should promote you. Because somebody above you screwed up and they really should have high prioritized this. It's really too bad. But I thank you. I have got your number. I've got all those numbers. I will make sure that I contact the fraud department to at least let them know I don't want to change my money to another account. I'm just closing out my account. So I'll use my debit card to withdraw the rest of my money. And then I'll close them after that. And then if you guys ever get the money back that guy fraudulently took, it's $250. I really don't care. but it'd be nice to get it back if you want to send a check or something to me, but whatever. That's really the least of my concerns. I just don't want my money in Wells Fargo anymore, and I know my colleagues aren't going to want their money in there anyway. And I'm at your disposal.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Well, I'm wishing you the best, and like I said, I will be in touch if anything changes, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Jordan. Have a good rest of your day.
You do the same, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, Jordan, I started recording. Can you please identify yourself and just say if or if not it's okay for me to record this conversation and who I am, please?
Yeah, this is Jordan Thompson from Wells Fargo Advisors, giving Neil Suits the capability to record this call.
Okay, so Jordan, you know what the situation is. We've talked about it. You know very well that I haven't asked Wells Fargo for anything. I'm not trying to get a bug bounty. I'm not extorting. I'm extremely concerned. And since we talked last, all I can tell you without breaking any confidentiality with the people that did the analysis on my phone, in the period 72 to 96 hours, that entire period before that call was made to Wells Fargo that recognized the 214 number, and that your IVR system, which doesn't have that functionality of putting the number in my profile, they did an analysis on the phone. There was a massive increase in data usage, and they're doing.
Say that one more time, Neil. You cut out.
Sorry. So on May 23rd, which I believe was the day that number was put, that 214 number was suddenly appeared in my profile because I had called. And we've gone through this, so I'm not going to waste your time. I called Wells Fargo from a Swiss phone. It said, do you want to put your new phone number in? No. Your fraud department verified the IVR system does not function like that. You don't have the capability. You were kind enough, once you and I started talking, to get that number out of the system. I told you the Zelle matter is completely irrelevant at this point. There was an analysis done on that physical phone itself, on that Swiss cell phone. And in a period, the 72 to 96 hours before I made that phone call, they did a data analysis of how much data was used on that phone. And there was a massive, like an inexplicable increase from like regular, maybe 100, 200, 300, whatever megabytes, whatever, up to massive gigabytes until that call, and then it stopped. We are going to go full forensic on the thing, but we know what happened. And then the biggest concern, Jordan, and I'll let you talk, and I'm not going to keep you long, so you understand the latest in addition to that, since we spoke last a few days ago, is even though my application updated, which is also inexplicable because I have to manually update them, as you know, as I told you, every single message I have from Wells Fargo, those internal like security alerts, account updates, when the update actually happened on my phone that we talked about, where, like I said in our last call, like the new application, there's some like new app, every other message the other piece of information that you need to know, so I'm fully transparent with you. It's just gotten so technical and so confusing, which is why I've had to record these, because I've had to really go over them myself, because my intent, as you know, and I've made it very clear, Jordan, it was to help all Wells Fargo customers, to help the whole bank, to not be the guy that causes some kind of banking scandal because there's something that looks like it's being buried, and it really does look like it at this point. We don't quite understand why Wells Fargo has not notified anybody. And I spoke to two different lawyers. They both told me, don't spend any more time on it, but if you do, make some more calls tonight. I spent an hour and a half on the phone, maybe more, with the people I talked to. And I forget the last woman's name who I talked to, who told you I was going to be calling you at this time, and I appreciate your picking up. And then they said, you have a legal responsibility to diffuse all the information in public, because there's no reason that any of those things should have happened. There's no reason Wells Fargo shouldn't have put out a massive security alert, primarily because Wells Fargo already verified the breach. And since we have the information verified on our end, you guys verified it on your end, I wanted to talk to you since you were really the last principal person I talked to that was kind, courteous. You did everything you could and have done everything you can within the limits of your own job. But since you said your supervisor had told you there's no way we're going to get a non-disclosure, I have no liability. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not extorting any money, and I'm not looking for a bug bounty. But I'm going to be in a legally liable position if I keep this secret anymore, because this was an absolute breach of Wells Fargo's system. It has not been corrected, and it has not been announced to any of your other customers. So can you please tell me what's happened briefly since you and I spoke, if anything, and why? And just so you know, one other thing, and then I'll be quiet. I looked up online. I typed in something like on Google, like Wells Fargo Legal Department. And there was a number listed on there that wasn't one of the numbers I've called you on. Definitely not this number, because this went right to a thing that let me put in your extension. And it said the number had been disconnected. Now, the only other piece of information you need to know is when I went to my phone company here for the Swiss phone, in the exact precisely same 10-minute period that my number was changed, when I got that first notification saying, when I called in from my Swiss number, the 214 number was added in, and then Wells Fargo sent me a contact update notice in the little envelope icon on the app, which I talked to you about. At that precise moment, my phone company gave me a list of all the phone calls that I made. There's no question it came out of my phone. I also have a responsibility to talk to the head of the phone company here. And I'm not the one who wants to cause a scandal. This is going to cause a lot of shit, pardon my French, in my life. But I told you in the beginning is that people say hacking doesn't exist. I've got a very complicated life situation where I'm having accusations made against me for numerous reasons that I am quote unquote paranoid or psychotic. I don't want to be the person to release this, but I just need to know where we're at, because otherwise it has to be released, or Wells Fargo has to say something now, like quick. So can you tell me where we're at, please?
Yeah, so I'll give you just a little bit of an update. Obviously, want to go small to big. I'll start with the 2 Zelle payments. I know obviously it's not the main reason for the call, but I did reach out to Online Claims. They actually solved that case the day it was submitted, so on the 26th. They reached out to the other institution. They reached out to Zelle. They were able to restrict Justin Whitley's email and get rid of his account, so he can't register with that email any further. But unfortunately, they were unsuccessful in returning the funds. The reason that you weren't made aware of it is because they sent confirmation via USPS, so there's going to be a letter waiting for you. Obviously, I know that you are out of the country, so I want to give that information over to you.
I'm out of the country. I'm not cutting you off, but although I've never been able to add a Swiss phone number into my Wells Fargo contact profile, my Swiss address is listed on there. And one of the conversations I had before I spoke with you here tonight told me, I think it was a really nice guy. I think his name was Jeff. I think told me that a couple letters were sent out, but like, if my Swiss address is in there, like, I would have never even known about it, because it's not like I'm going back to America tomorrow, and everybody knows at Wells Fargo that I've been here for 5 years, and I put my Swiss address in there for correspondence. So I appreciate your telling me that. I hope that at some point somebody would at least reach out to me by email or mail so they can retrieve the text messages that I offered in the beginning that show more than just whoever Justin Whitley or Whitney or whatever he is, all the background to it. And that account, okay, they restricted it, that's great. But how about going after the guy for running a fraudulent ethical hacking operation and using a U.S. bank to do it? Like, just to give this guy, to restrict him is ridiculous. He's using a U.S. bank to run money, and I know that, again, that's not your purview, your area of expertise, but like, I know what Zelle is now. I learned, and unless I read wrong, Zelle is a partnership of some sort, and please correct me if I'm wrong, between multiple U.S. banks to make transfers within U.S. banks simpler. Why isn't somebody like the DOJ or somebody gone to the guy's door and say, what the hell is behind this? And why hasn't anybody asked me for all the correspondence? And again, Jordan, I'm not asking you these questions. I'm saying just to restrict the guy, you're giving him a get out of jail free card, because God knows how many other people he's done this to. And I told everybody in the beginning, I found this guy on Quora, that Quora site.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I offered Wells Fargo all the text messages. I kept everything. They used a Google Voice number. They already changed the Google Voice number, but they were unable to delete the conversation, like the chat conversation. I kept it all because I wanted to help Wells Fargo with that. So it's unfortunate that they're just going to restrict his account and actually not do anything, because he's just going to change accounts and keep doing the same thing just like scammers do. But he's using a U.S. bank to run money for a hacking operation. Somebody should care about that, but I don't care about that anymore. I don't care about the money I lost. I really don't. I care about the other subject.
Yes, sir. So in terms of the NDA, I've gone back to my lead, my supervisor as well, and they've told me repeatedly that an NDA still would not be on the table. So I apologize. I did advocate for you, let them know your situation as you gave it to me. But in terms of getting you that legal document, that is not something that we would be able to provide you with. Now, however you want to go about it, whatever channels you need to go through in order to, of course, protect yourself. I can't tell you one way or the other. Like you said, you feel as though you have a legal responsibility.
I don't feel I actually do. I do have a legal responsibility, and I hold no legal liability. What I was told by one of the lawyers I contacted, and I won't say more than this, somebody who's the vice president of a major financial institution, not a bank, a financial institution, said it's going to cause a banking crisis with Wells Fargo. A lot of people may get fired for not having escalated this to the exact executive team, like the real executive team, like your general counsel, and for not even having general counsel get in touch with me, and also for not having requested all the documentation that I provided, and for the fact that nobody's willing to explain to me why those 2 messages of all my messages that updated my contacts were deleted. I really don't care about the confidentiality agreement anymore. In the beginning, I did it because I wanted to do it for Wells Fargo. I wanted to do it for your clients. I don't want to be the guy that does this, but I hold no legal liability for going public with this now. I didn't ever have to call you guys back again, but I did it because you were extremely courteous. I know you've done everything you can. I don't know who your supervisor is, but I was told by the person who's the VP of a major financial institution that it is unrealistic that a supervisor for somebody in the gentleman's position you spoke with, which is you, that a supervisor did not have the capacity within Wells Fargo to contact the legal department. He said that's an absolute blatant lie. And the fact that your messages were erased, if they would have erased your messages and it was part of the quote unquote hack that happened, which is proven to be a hack on your phone and on their end, they should have erased all the messages, not just those 2. So I don't know who your supervisor is. I don't know what role they hold. I'm not judging them. I'm not asking for their name. I'm just saying y'all have recorded all my calls, and I told you, and they can listen to every single call except for the one guy, like I told you, that I talked to one night before I talked to you after having talked to a dozen people. And I flipped on him. And I didn't flip. I didn't threaten him. The call will prove it. I didn't do anything except say, what on earth are you doing not taking this seriously when your fraud department verified it? And I was rude to him at the end because he disregarded this. But it's an obvious hack, and I don't understand. I get it. You've done everything you can. Your supervisor says an NDA won't be possible. I was willing. I just wanted to give you guys the information. The NDA was to protect Wells Fargo. It wasn't to protect me. That's the whole point. Because Wells Fargo apparently is going to have the word that was used that I was told since I talked to you last was an exodus of clients. And I was like, okay, I know what exodus means. They said a bunch of people are going to withdraw their money immediately when they know that this happened and it was covered up. Nobody was warned. Your messages were erased, and that you're being accused of being a crazy man when Wells Fargo already verified it. So, Jordan, all I can say is I appreciate you're doing everything you've done. I really, really do. And I can say, so this is recorded for you, for the people that will listen to this, because this will obviously touch the executive team when it hits the media. And that's just a fact, because I'm not letting the rest of the Wells Fargo customers be in the blind about this anymore. I can't. I don't care about the Zelle thing. I really don't. I'll repeat it. But Wells Fargo should keep somebody like you on board and promote you, because most of the other people, except for like you, Jasmine, the person, I forget what her name was, Maureen or something like that, that Jasmine connected me to her, and then she connected me to you and a couple of other people. Most people haven't taken this seriously. And unfortunately, your fraud department who verified the breach, they didn't even take it seriously when they verified it themselves. So it's really, really unfortunate, but I am in the end doing this to protect myself, my reputation personally, because of my own family and my own reputation. It's not nice to be called crazy and psychotic and making things up when you have multiple psychiatrists that are saying you're sane, and it's actually your psychiatrist that sends you to Wells Fargo and the phone company to get this verified, and it was verified. And so I really hope whoever's listening to this call, when they do eventually listen to it, that whoever, I know Jordan Thompson, y'all need to promote this guy. He should be in a much more powerful position, because I know Jordan for a fact, and I know you can't comment. I know very well, if you had the power to have gotten me an NDA, you would have gotten it to me. And it's unfortunate that there's some weird thing going on that apparently nobody in the supervisory level above you wants corporate to know about. And I hope this does not cause some sort of banking exodus. That's not my goal. My goal is credibility. I have the credibility. I have the validation. My end, your end. And it's unfortunate that this problem was not fixed, because obviously it's still going on. Otherwise, it would have been fixed and there would have been an announcement. There's a lot of breaches that are talked about in the media. I mean, even this morning, they were talking about multiple companies being hacked. They announce them. They're completely transparent with their customers once they discover it, whether it's a software company or whatever it is. For Wells Fargo to not talk about this and to bury this the way it is, and it's a bury, there's no question about it. It's not your fault. There's people's money, their well-being, their savings, their trust accounts, and just regular, like, working Joes like you and me that all have our money in Wells Fargo. It's really, really sad, but I appreciate your having done everything you can. I'll repeat, if anybody wants to go on my contact profile who works for Wells Fargo, I'm a simple guy to contact. Wells Fargo has the ability to send a FedEx to my address in Switzerland, or to email me, and I know you couldn't email out of your system because you told me that. But the first person I talked to or got back to me from customer advocacy sent me an email, not only directly to my email that was listed, but also through your internal system that gave me, it said, click here. And then I clicked on it and I was able to communicate by email. So I'm baffled. I'm shocked. I appreciate everything. I won't keep you longer. I appreciate everything. And I have to consult my colleague on how to properly close my accounts, because as you know, I have 3 accounts. I have an everyday checking simple account. I also have a brokerage account and a brokerage cash account. I've made arrangements for another bank already, but as I'm overseas, it takes a little bit longer to get that set up. But I unfortunately will never, ever, ever be a Wells Fargo customer again, ever. And I will, if anybody ever asks me personally, friends, I'm not going to go out defaming you guys. Be assured there will be no defamation, ever. Not a single false word. But I will, if anybody ever asks me, I will simply tell them, don't ever bank with Wells Fargo. And it's unfortunate because you guys have been the greatest bank until this whole episode, from 1997 until present. I don't know what's going on in the company, but it's messed up. And it could hurt a lot of it could already have hurt a lot of people without even them knowing it yet. So.
Yes, sir. Well, I definitely appreciate, your patience in the matter. I know obviously this is not the easiest time for you, so I'm wishing you Godspeed with your situation personally. And while we weren't able to achieve the outcome that you're looking for, I appreciate you, essentially working with me and giving me some grace as well. Like I've said before, you make whatever move you feel is the best, your next step. So feel free. Obviously, if you need anything further, you have my contact information, and I'll try my best to help you. I will be essentially closing out these 2 cases. Like I said, they came to me as the Zelle payments, so I'll be closing it from that perspective. But I do wish you all the luck in the future there.
Thank you. You as well. And I really hope that Wells Fargo promotes you, because when if they do have to let other people go, if somebody does get found to have been part of erasing something or not passing a message along, it's definitely not you. You've done the top of the top. You're the best Wells Fargo employee I've ever dealt with since 1997, and you should get props for it. And the only reason I will speak about this publicly and diffuse this is because it's for the protection of all Wells Fargo clients, which as of tomorrow I won't be anymore. So I appreciate everything, and I wish you all the best as well.
Absolutely. You take care, okay, Neil?
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye-bye.